Good evening, Collegians fans, and welcome to the final home game of league play for the Collegians in this 2021 Summer Mile High Collegiate Baseball League season. Today we have the visiting Colorado Lumberjacks taking on the hometown Boulder Collegians. Right now on the mound is left-handed hurler out of San Francisco State University, Theo Dopkins, and he will be pitching against the leadoff center fielder for the Lumberjacks, Quincy Miller. The 1-1 pitch coming in. This one is tipped back, and that brings up a 1-2 count. Once again on the call with me this evening is Matt Branch, representative from the Mile High Collegiate Baseball League. How you doing today, Matt?
Doing great. I've been here. I saw the doubleheader between the Boulder Collegians and the Full College Bandits.
So I've had a full day of baseball, ready for another game. Should be another good game of baseball.
As Dopkins throws that one in for strike three, and out number one as Quincy Miller is sent back to the dugout looking.
A quick and good start there for Dopkins, getting a strikeout looking. Can't ask for much better way to start a game.
And coming up to the plate right now is Kevin Race. This is the second baseman. As the first pitch from Dopkins is tipped back to bring up 0-1.
Kevin Race, a 5'11 freshman out of University of the Southwest down in New Mexico. He's been a main infielder for this Lumberjacks team. He plays all around, usually third and second where he rotates, and tonight they've got him at second.
As he sends this one foul right behind the Collegians dugout. So, you've seen the Lumberjacks play. I covered their game about 2 weeks ago down at Rock Canyon High School, and the Collegians were fortunate enough to get a sweep there in a doubleheader. What have you seen from the Lumberjacks this season?
Whenever they're on, I feel like I say this about most teams, whenever they're on, they're on.
And Dopkins right there gets his second strikeout as he catches Race swinging for out number two.
They were second place for a while in the league. They're a good team. They've kind of hit a bit of a slump ever since about that midpoint of the season. They've kind of fallen off. They lost a few, got swept by the Cannons, and then the 14ers came in and beat them. Just kind of they've been on a downhill track. I think they're starting to get a little momentum back here at the end of the season. But they're a good team. They can play with anybody, and they can beat just about anybody.
First fastball just missed the zone outside from Dopkins. Yeah, it seems like the Lumberjacks, like you said, kind of an inconsistent team, but they have the talent to compete really with anyone in the league. And so it wouldn't be a shocker if they competed throughout here, although Dopkins getting off to a really good start as this one's tipped foul to bring up an even 1-1 count.
Yeah, it's hard to get off to a good start if you're the Lumberjacks when you've got somebody like Theo Dopkins throwing like he is to start. I mean, he's a college pitcher for a reason, and a good college pitcher at San Francisco State.
1-1 pitch from Dopkins coming in, and this one just misses outside. That brings up 2-1. Slight shift in the infield from last night's 11-1 victory over the Denver Generals from the Collegians. Gazdar and Miguel will switch. Miguel will move to shortstop, which is his natural position as this off-speed pitch misses high 3-1. That is Miguel's natural position there at shortstop, and Gazdar is going to move to second base. Barkenhagen swings and misses there to bring up a full count.
Barkenhagen, the freshman out of Ottawa University of Arizona down in Surprise, Arizona. He came in about a week or two into the season, was not on the original starting roster, but came in, and he's been big for him so far. Has had a few deep balls hit, a solid outfielder as well for the season, a good late addition for the Lumberjacks. Once he showed up, he's kind of been in the lineup ever since. And with a name like Barkenhagen, you recognize whenever he's in the lineup.
Exactly. It can be a blessing or a curse kind of have a memorable name like that. 3-2 count coming up.
I said with his, I've pretty much seen it ever since he got here.
This one is hit foul and keeps the count alive at 3-2.
He's another local guy for this Lumberjacks team, as he's from Castle Rock, Colorado, went to Douglas County High School, not too far from Highlands Ranch, which is where Rock Canyon is. You'll see a lot of the guys on this Lumberjack team played high school ball at Rock Canyon, which is the home field of the Lumberjacks. I've been to several of their games this season.
This one drops, and it's just like it's going to be, just misses that bottom corner of the zone, and that'll be ball 4, and that'll put on the first base runner for the Lumberjacks.
Craig Kinney getting the first base nod tonight. Usually he's the designated hitter, or the catcher. Catching's been his main position. He rotates that out with A.J. Naha, who gets the start tonight. I've seen him at first base maybe one time this season, but solid infielder. Most of the time, if you can catch well, you can field a ground ball well at infield. You can catch those.
And that's something we see Garrett Fisher behind the mound. He plays first base quite a bit for the Collegians this year, so it's a position you often see, especially in summer ball when you have players missing and you want to get some players some looks at different positions. You'll put your catcher at first base. And here, Barkenhagen gets himself in a little bit of a pickle, and D throws to Miguel, and he gets the tag at second base to retire the side. And so Craig Kenny, the first baseman there, doesn't really get much of an at-bat as the Collegians get the third out on the base path and retire the side for a shutout inning. So a good start from Theo Dobkins on the mound as he pitches one shutout inning with 2 strikeouts. And we'll go into the bottom of the second scoreless. We'll be right back from Boulder. Back in Boulder for the bottom of the first inning. I'm Devin Marquez here, joined by Matt Branch, as leading off for the Collegians is the center fielder Ryan Vogel. He takes that first pitch for ball 1. On the mound is Cade Nelson for the Lumberjacks. As his second pitch is high for ball 2.
I haven't got to see much of Caden Nelson this season. He's kind of coming a little bit late. The one game I remember him pitching, he did pitch very well. He's one of their better pitchers. Another later addition to the team for this Lumberjacks squad. I believe last time he went a pretty good ways into a game. With this being a 9-inning game, I doubt he's going to go the whole way. But still, he's got the skills, and he can, like we saw last night with the Generals. It is possible to hold the Collegians low in the beginning. We might be able to see that later, or see that tonight. But once again, this lineup is just so dangerous. You never really know.
Well, I think something that's going to be key right now is you don't want to throw this guy too much. Because if he's doing good through 3-4 innings, you don't want to kind of test your luck. This ball is batted down third base line and foul. It seemed like Bruder got off to a good start yesterday, only gave up 3 runs through 4 innings. And then things kind of got blown wide open in the 5th inning. And I think maybe if they would have taken him out, got a new pitcher in there, maybe it would have changed some things. But yesterday, they got off to that good start, held it close, and the Collegians, uncharacteristically had a late surge where we're used to seeing them kind of get off to hot starts. So we'll see what kind of offensive game we have from Boulder today as Vogel hits that one foul.
Just like you said, it's going to come down to knowing when to pull out a pitcher.
And this is a grounder to third. Looks like it's going to go foul again. So already Vogel kind of working up that pitch count, 3 foul balls in a row. And that's huge. That's huge, honestly, because even if you can get out of this inning with no runs, I mean, it's big to get 6-7 more pitches under your belt every single inning than you have to. because that's just going to affect your fatigue and how your longevity throughout the game.
That's something we saw last night. We saw a lot of the Collegians work some very deep at bats, get that pitch count on Reuter up, and I feel like that really contributed to that big inning that the Collegians were able to have. And like you're talking about, you don't want the pitcher to go too far if you're the Lumberjacks, because once the Collegians get a hit, they start stringing them together.
Yeah, this is a grounder to third. This one handled easily and thrown to first base for the first out of the bottom of the first.
Number 8, Brady Miguel.
That was a good play there by Mattis over there at third to get it up and get it across over to Kenny. And it's looking like the main first baseman, like I said, so with Kenny getting the start, the Lumberjacks go-to guy, Herman, not listed on the substitutes or in the lineup tonight. So that's going to be a big loss for this Lumberjack team, as he was instrumental in the Lumberjacks win in Game 2 against the Spradley Collegians this past Wednesday. Had a big 3-run homer that put them, when they were down by 2, puts them up by a run. Completely changed the style of the game. He's got a big bat, and I'm sure that's a bat they're going to be missing here in this game against the Collegians.
This 1-0 pitch misses low, bring up 2-0. And I think it's big when you don't have an experienced first baseman there. That gap, especially on a left-handed hitter right here like Brady Miguel, can be dangerous, So we'll watch out to see how some balls are hit over there, as this one is chopped foul near the Collegians bullpen to bring up 2-1.
Kenny has been the go-to first baseman whenever Herman's not available. So he has had a few games over at first base, but not quite like Herman. Herman's just been the go-to guy. And he's listed at 6'4", where Kenny's listed at 6'1", so there's a little bit of a height differential. You can't stretch as far as Herman can. Herman's a fantastic first baseman that I've seen this season. So we'll see how that factors in later in the game.
3-1 coming up from Nelson on the shortstop, Miguel. As this one misses the strike zone, and they're going to do a check swing here. They're going to call that out. Looks like it was a full count there. Or maybe it was a 2-2 count. But they're going to call that strike 3. We had it listed as 3-1. It looks like it might have been 2-2 or 3-2. But they said he went. And so Miguel a little upset there because that was outside the zone. If he wouldn't have swung, would have been called for a ball. But that's first strikeout for Nelson.
Yeah, tough break for the Collegians on that one.
His first pitch is in for strike 1 on the third baseman, Ackerman.
Would have been really good to have somebody on base for Ackerman at the plate because he had a huge night last night. I believe he had 4 RBIs.
4 RBI game, and he got on base every time he was up, but they actually intentionally walked him later in the game. And that loaded up the bases. That's how much respect Ackerman, got from the Generals yesterday, was they were willing to intentionally walk him to load up the bases, and then, as we know with this Collegians team, they brought up Gazdar, and he batted in a run. As Ackerman continues his hitting streak here, and sends this one into left field for the first hit of the game.
So Ackerman, one of those that hits a very consistent contact hitter. That right there just about as basic of a line drive base hit as you can get. It does a job with 2 outs, gets a base runner on.
It seems like it always comes quick off the bat, too. We saw that he had a 3-run homer yesterday. And that thing just left the park quick. I mean, we knew right away that thing was out of here. But here we bring up Gazdar. He's going to look to advance Ackerman a little bit and get something going as he swings at the first one and sends it foul.
One thing I noticed in the 2 games I called earlier today for the 14ers, the balls leaving the bat have not looked like they're going that far, but there were 2 home runs hit in those games. Both of them I did not think were going to get out of here, yet both of them did.
This Boulder ballpark's a little deceiving. You don't know, and I don't know if it's the net. I don't know what it is, but I get that same feeling too when I see these, and I'm like, it's going back, it's going back. And it looks like, the left fielder, the center fielder, has an eye on it. And then it just leaves the park.
Actually, there was one that I thought was just going to be a routine fly ball to left that ends up clearing the protective net in left.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay. That was a pretty solid pickoff move from Nelson there, especially coming from a righty.
Yeah. And we saw, 2 primarily left-handed pitchers yesterday with Isdale coming in and getting the majority of the reps. As this one is sent into deep left. And that one's going to drop at the warning track. Rucco sends Ackerman home. Ackerman going home. The throw there is going to be dropped by the catcher, and they're going to call that one safe for the first run of the game. RBI double from John Gazdar to get the scoring going here in Boulder.
A great break there for the Collegians on that one to get that first run. It looked like Naha had it. It just came right out of the glove. It was a good throw from Paschke on the cutoff. Just out of the glove of Naha, and he gets a run on the board. And so now another runner now in scoring position for the Collegians. D has been a very consistent player for this Collegians team too. We'll see what he can do here with 2 outs. And once again, 2 out RBIs been the story of the Collegians this season.
We saw that yesterday. They scored 3 runs in 1 inning with 2 outs. And so, you're never out of this. And maybe that's something that it's hard mentally as a pitcher because you think, oh, I've done good to get out of this. And then when they're doing that, it's just hard to go on. But right now we prepare for the 0-1. Nelson with a look over his right shoulder as he goes into his windup. And D hits this one foul to bring up a quick 0-2 count. But right there, just what we were talking about, I think, was that Naha there in left field?
That is Smith out there in left.
Smith in left field. It's deceiving when it comes off the bat. It just carries. And it's this thin air up here in Boulder. That ball carries, and he's getting under it. And he just misjudges it. It lands on the warning track, and Ackerman's able to get all the way home from first as D is struck out swinging there by Nelson, but not before 1 run does come home for the Collegians to put them up 1-0. Theo Dobkins will return to the mound in the top of the second for Boulder to try and keep this shutout going. We'll be right back from Scott Carpenter Park. Very quick turnaround as we already enter into the top of the second. Craig Kinney's going to stay at the plate as Barkenhagen was thrown out on the base path, and so he was not able to complete his at-bat as this first pitch in from Dobkins.
So technically it almost ends up, that first inning in the scorebook looks like a 3-up, 3-down. As this was the 4th batter, and he still gets to start up here. Like I said, Kinney's been a pretty consistent hitter.
As he bounces one into left field there for the first hit of the game for the Lumberjacks. Well, Barkenhagen got a hit in the first inning. That would be the second hit of the game.
Well, no, Barkenhagen had walked.
Oh, Barkenhagen was walked, so
that was the first hit of the game there for
second
Kinney.
Base run of the day. First hit, though.
Frederick's another one of those players that rotates out in the catching position. Typically, he's a designated hitter. He's been that fairly consistently the past 2 weeks. And we see him there again tonight.
And we'll look as we see Dobkins now, another left-handed pitcher with that pickoff move.
That was more of a half-hearted pickoff than anything. Just kind of like, just get back on the base.
This one is shot foul to bring up 0-1. And Dobkins says he doesn't like to use his A move right away. He just wants to kind of keep the runner honest. Later in the game, he'll start to use his A move to try and maybe pick off some runners, but right now, when he has the batter or the runner in sight, he wants to just make sure he's staying there.
That's a smart move by Dobkins, not showing your best cards first, because I know he's got to have a quick pickoff move, especially being a lefty. But I've seen his athleticism before.
This one high and misses, ball 1.
Said Frederick the batter, a freshman out of Benedictine College in Kansas. a graduate of Regis Jesuit High School here in Colorado.
And a lot of these guys local on the Lumberjacks. Typically what we've seen in the MHCBL this season, Boulder Collegians kind of the lone team that really recruits heavily outside of the state. And gets a lot of players, particularly from the West Coast, a lot of California guys.
Yep, just like you said, pretty much every other team is 90% Colorado kids. And that's just kind of the way it's been with the Collegians coming over. I hope some of them start copying the Collegians recruiting style, getting some more out-of-state players come in. Like every single person on this Lumberjacks teams that I have their hometowns of, all are Colorado. And for the most part, 95% of those are south of Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. And a great pitch here. Catches Frederick swinging for strike number 2. That brings up a full count.
I said there's a few teams that have a few guys from other places, but nothing like what the Collegians have when the majority of California kids on this team.
A 3-2 pitch coming up, swing and a miss, strike 3. And that is the 4th K of the evening so far already for Theo Dobkins. That's the first out of the top of the second.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number 16, AJ Naha.
So Naha comes up. He's been another consistent starter. If he's not catching, he's been a true utility player. I've seen him in the infield and I've seen him in the outfield. Like I said, typically it's either catching or infield, but if the need arises, they'll throw him out in right or left.
The 1 pitch comes in, and this one smack foul brings up a quick 0-2 count.
He's also been good to get some hits here in the past. Just the other day in that game 2 against Bradley on Wednesday, AJ Naha racked up. He went 3 for 4 as he gets a hit there.
And Naha with a nice hit there to put 2 runners on and put some pressure on the Collegians here in the top of the second with Will Mattos coming up.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number 4, Will Mattos.
Mattis has been in that third base rotation with Kevin Ray so far this season. A very solid infielder. Bat's not quite as good as a glove is in that situation, but still a solid baseball player. Good enough to keep him in the lineup. It looks like we had a courtesy runner come in is what the delay's for.
Runners on first and second. This first pitch from Dobkins is in and swung on and missed by Mattos for strike 1.
Naha, another local guy out of Denver, Colorado, went to Mullen High School in Denver. I believe he had committed to play at Occidental College out in California. Some of these players are easier to find information on than others when it came to making these searches.
This pitch is shot foul 0-2.
Everybody clap your hands.
Dobkins, 0-2 count here. Strikeout would go a long way, certainly. He looks over his left shoulder and he throws this one in, and this one high and just misses the top of the zone, called for ball 1.
Just the other day against Bradley, that's just the most recent game I have. Mattis struggled a little bit, 2 strikeouts, reached on an error, and didn't have 1 hit. And so 1 for 3.
Sends this one foul, keeps the count alive at 1-2. And this is a good time for him to get the bat rolling, especially early. Stay close with these Collegians early, and if you can level things up right now, maybe rattle Dobkins up a little bit, because he's pitching with some confidence right now after 3 strikeouts already.
And one thing is, Mattis has been very good at getting on base. He's
one's
walked
thrown
several
high.
times this season. There's a few games where all of his plate appearances ended up being walks. And so he's good at finding a way, like he's getting the count closer to full here. We'll see if that continues here. I don't foresee that happening with as well as Dobkins has been pitching.
Dobkins on the 2-2. This a nice slider just misses the bottom corner of the zone. That brings up a full count. And yeah, you can see Matos is a patient hitter. He waits for his pitches to come. He's had a few hacks here in this at bat that have gone foul, but he's waiting for that pitch. So we'll see. Don't know if Dobkins is gonna trick him up too much, but we'll see what he has in his bag here with the 3-2 count. And this pitch is sent deep into center field. Going back is Vogel. And that thing looks like it's going to hit the net. And that thing will be out of here for a 3-run homer.
What a shot. I don't think Naha realized it was a homer because he was full speed.
Oh, he was flying to home plate. I mean, he was preparing for that, throw from Vogel out in center field to get him at home. But
I believe that's the first home run I've seen Naha hit this year. So, of course, I haven't been at every game for every team, but I've been at several Rock Canyon games. Granted, Rock Canyon's a park that is very hard to hit one out of.
Oh, definitely.
But we get to see something here that we haven't seen much, and that's the Collegians work from behind.
And that's something that we talked about. Might not be completely a bad thing, as swing and a miss there from Zach Paschke brings up 0-1. Might not be terribly a bad thing, especially with some big games coming up for the Collegians. They need to get some experience playing in these close games. And the second pitch is popped up into deep second. Looks like a little miscommunication going on, but Vogel's able to call him off and get that one in shallow center for out number 2.
Just like you were saying, it's not a bad thing to have to work from behind sometimes, especially when even if you're behind here, they still have a several game lead over first here in the league. And more than likely in Wichita, if that's where they end up going, they're going to be behind at some point in the game.
Oh,
it's just the way it works. So this will be a good situation to work from behind against a good Lumberjacks team that has just kind of struggled here in the past little bit. And maybe this is just what the Collegians needed.
And if the Collegians can get out of this, it can be a really, really good learning experience. And it's something that we've seen. They had a game out in Hayes, where Hayes got on them early, and then they came back. And that game actually went to extra innings, but they blew the gates wide open in extra innings and won 11-5 there. But that was such a good experience, and you could see that's how they've rolled. They haven't lost a league game since then. And that was, I think, June 22nd was that game. So, it's been almost a month since they've lost a league game. And so you just got to see these resilient grind-out games. Sometimes they're not pretty, but those wins can go a long way as this one's popped up. It looks like Fisher's going to be able to get under it, and he does with these to retire the side, but not before Will Matos gets a 3-run homer for the Lumberjacks to put them up 3-1 going into the bottom of the second. Cade Nelson will remain on the mound for the Lumberjacks, and we'll be right back from Scott Carpenter. We're back here with the top of the second as the designated hitter for the game today. Lane Oliphant comes up to the plate to lead off for the Collegians since that first pitch foul to bring up 0-1.
We'll see what the Collegians do here after now being down for the first time since I'm not sure when.
This pitch way inside catches the right elbow actually of Oliphant as he takes his base. Or are they saying that it hit his bat maybe? Umpires will meet and have a discussion. Oliphant showing that it hit his elbow and looks like it's going to stay that way. So Oliphant will take his base there on a hit by pitch.
Collegians, number 9, AJ Rucco.
Can't complain about a leadoff base runner no matter how you get it. But like I said, I'm ready to see how the Collegians respond to being behind because sometimes it takes getting popped in the mouth early to really kind of see what a team's made of. Granted, it's only a 2-run lead. Like I said,
And it's a long 9-inning game today as this one's low into the dirt for ball 1.
there's still plenty of baseball left. And the way the Collegians have been playing, it won't surprise me if they respond back with 3 or 4 of their own here.
Kickoff move from the right-hander there. Keeps Oliphant on his toes.
For a right-hander, Nelson's got a pretty good pickoff move.
He does. This one's high for ball 2, and with the Collegians, with how dangerous a base running team they are, you got to have good pickoff moves in your bag there that, can kind of stunt these runners up because if you don't, they'll lead off. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. They've stolen home before twice this year. And so as a pitcher, you're very aware of that. But this one goes low, ball 3, as a 3-0 count is up for the right fielder, AJ Rucco.
The Collegians definitely the most aggressive team on the bases this season. And that's for good reason. I mean, they've got a ton of speed. Especially, Vogel has to be the fastest guy on the team.
Oh, yeah.
But even then, it's everybody else just has a lot more speed than what the average player in the league has right now.
Yeah, Rucco here at bat has stole home earlier this year too. So, a lot of dangerous runners as this one catches the inside of the zone for strike 2. That brings up a full count. So Nelson catches up after starting off 3-0 on Rucco. We'll see what he throws here to the right fielder.
And I enjoy getting to see the C runners be aggressive.
And Rucco sent this one into shallow center. Looks like it's going to be handled pretty easily out there for out number 1.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 5, Garrett Fisher.
Right off the bat, I thought that one might have been a little bit trouble being a little bit too shallow, but Miller was able to come up and make that grab fairly routinely. And it still just leaves 1 runner on with 1 out now. Nelson's looking to try to keep the...
And that's a great hit from Garrett Fisher there into that left center gap. Oliphant's going to look to go 3. He looks like he's going to get there with ease. And so Garrett Fisher batting in the 9-hole today as the catcher. Struggled a lot this season batting, but really great for him there. He had a double last night, kind of a walk-off double that it ended the game because it extended that Collegians lead to 10 runs. But he got himself a double on his last at-bat and then comes up and gets a single. So that has to be great for his confidence. And the Collegians love to see that. So runners at the corners now for Nick Upstill.
And the more confidence you can get at this point in the season going forward, especially before you go up to Alaska, facing a very good Alaskan League team in the Gold Panthers, and then also looking forward to Wichita, that confidence is going to be key, especially when you need to start rotating players here and there. Because that's going to be a lot of games in a lot of days, especially with somebody like Fisher who's a catcher. It's hard on catchers. And they're going to be rotating.
And Fisher gets caught off there, and there's Nelson's pickoff move we're talking about. It catches Fisher off a little bit there, and he'll go out for out number 2.
A very impressive pickoff move for a righty. We've seen him get close a lot of times, and there we saw it finally pay off, getting Fisher.
And Fisher maybe cheating up a little bit too much. This 0-1 pitch comes into Upstill, and a little bit of an awkward swing there. Catches him in the hole 0-2. Still runner on third. That's Oliphant.
Nelson's pickoff move reminds me of a guy that was in my college's conference, played for my college. He was a righty pitcher and main starter. A righty that was, like I said, it was our Friday night guy. And he led the led the conference in pickoffs. I was surprised to see a righty leading a league.
I mean, you never see that.
And he led it with, I think he was nearing 8 in his 10 starts or something like that. Which I was like, okay, yeah, this guy means business. I didn't get to see it a ton.
And this one is bat into short, into deep short. It's going to drop. That's a great placed hit there from Upstill. That drops into the gap there right behind short. And that one scores Oliphant to tighten things up at 3-2.
That is just what the Collegians needed there.
Collegians number 1, Ryan Bogle.
Like I said, not a super solid hit, but it did the job. It got out there, was a bloop over the shortstop. Did what it was supposed to do, and it got a run in and made this a closer game.
And you've seen Nelson kind of go with those curveballs, those pitches he likes to kind of drop into the zone. This one.
And another thing to point out, that was another 2-out RBI single. Just like we saw in the first from Gazdar, except that one was a double. But either way, a 2-out RBI. So it shows there's no quit in this Collegian team, and it's little aspects like that that shows how they can make a big wake in places like Wichita.
Second pitch is a fastball. Misses the zone for ball 1.
I'm not quite sure where that one missed. If it was anywhere, it might have been a little inside. But that looked like a pretty good pitch from Nelson to me.
It did look like a good pitch from here. The 1-1 comes in, and Vogel reaches for this one.
Naha has been quick to go back to first, and for good reason. Upstill's gotten pretty good leads, but not far enough that he's really been in any trouble. He's slid in both times, but he's been safe by a good bit.
And maybe with that pass pick off of Fisher, they want to, maybe test their luck a little bit. But you want to be careful here. If this one goes for strike 3, you want to be careful because if Naha misses that throw to first base, that could be an extra, base for Upstill there. But Vogel strikes out, but not before one run does score off an RBI single from Upstill, and that tightens things up 3-2 Lumberjacks as we head into the third inning of play. We'll be right back from Boulder. And we're back with the top of the third inning as Dopkins gets prepared to pitch back to the top of the order as this slider misses low and outside for ball 1.
Lumberjacks are back at the top of the lineup with Quincy Miller, who struck out looking back in the first. Miller's been whenever he plays, he's always been the leadoff guy.
Sends this one foul down the first base line. That brings up 1-1.
To be leadoff, he's had a fairly consistent bat. Like the rest of the Lumberjacks team, it's kind of slumped off here in the past week or so. It's looking to see if he can get that back, but he is a fantastic fielder.
Dopkins, the 1-1 pitch. This one, again, another pitch that looked like it was in the zone. Maybe it missed a little bit outside, but they're going to call that ball 2.
My thing, when an umpire is inconsistent, at least it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I can appreciate, I can understand, I'm okay with it a little more if the call's going both ways. It's just a different guy's strike zone.
Yeah.
But if he's calling, a UPS box for one team and a coffee cup for another,
That's a problem. Yeah.
That's not good. But as long as he's consistent, I can be a little more okay with it. The pitchers just have to adjust to what they figure out the strike zone is.
And that's when you really see which pitcher is going to adjust best to that. And then this one is called strike one, and I thought maybe that one was a little high. And so that one, or strike two, excuse me. And so, it's going to take a feel. As Dobkins is in his third inning now, he's going to get a feel for where the zone is. But he prepares now for another 3-2 count. And this pitch is shot hard down the first base line, but goes foul past the first baseman deep.
We've seen where both pitchers have struggled a little bit with that strike zone. So, other than the home run from Dobkins, he's really been able to find it and hold it well. He's had one walk through 2 innings, and that's not bad when the strike zone's been what it has at the start of this game.
Pitch goes off the bat of Miller, and that keeps it alive. So now it's the Lumberjacks' turn to kind of extend some at-bats and, get that pitch count up for Dobkins, who, this is probably the last time he'll be out until up in the last frontier in Alaska next week. So he wants to have a good outing as this last pitch misses low, and Dobkins upset with himself there. And it's frustrating as a pitcher to get in that full count, have 2, decent pitches that go foul, and then you hit that ball forward. It's frustrating. It gets your pitch count up, and then you get another walk.
Now batting.
So that's the second walk for Dobkins tonight. And anytime you give up a leadoff base runner, it's not great. It's not great when you're the team in the field. When you're the team batting, you think it's fantastic. Leadoff base runner. And Race is a guy who's, like I said, fantastic glove. Bat's been up and down this season, but I think, like the Lumberjacks, they had that slump. They're all kind of starting to get back in the rhythm, especially with that big comeback win over Spradley on Wednesday. Definitely boosted the confidence some.
And this ball is going to be dropped by Fisher, as Miller will get an extra base there and put a runner in scoring position, as Mark Knutson and Fisher want to have a word with their guy on the bump, Dobkins.
I feel like this is more of just a, hey, settle down, it's all right. Still a one-run game. Or, do your job. The defense will back you up. That's what they're there for. It's all good. We've seen, that's one of those things. Especially, this is a team that I would trust the offense just as much as I trust the defense on, as consistent as the Collegians have been about scoring runs and also getting out of jams. Like, all the way around, the Collegians, there's a reason they're 20-2 in the league.
Exactly.
They've proven that time and time again. Like I said, the 2 losses, that first loss to the 14ers here back near the beginning of the season, and then that loss to Thunder in the doubleheader. That's chalked up to, it's baseball. It's going to happen. And that was a night that the bats weren't there as much as they had been. And if I remember, I think the defense slacked a little bit as well. But even with that loss to Thunder, they still split that doubleheader with them.
Exactly.
The Collegians are never out of anything from what we've seen. They have a great mentality when it comes to staying in the game and staying in the moment and not getting too caught up in the last pitch or the last error or the last run scored. And I feel like that's what that talk was with the coach, with Dobkins, was just focus on the next pitch. That's the main thing.
This 2-1 pitch comes in, and it's a slow bouncer to short as Miguel handles it. Throws to first. That one's going to be in time. Great play there by the shortstop, Miguel, to get out number 1 at first base, and that will advance Miller to third base. But that at least gets an out on the board for the Collegians.
Now it's going to take a little bit here for the Collegians to get out of this one without letting another run score, simply because there's a runner on there with just 1 out. Any deep ball, automatic run. Because I know the Collegians outfield has good arms, but even the best arms allow sac flies to happen.
Yeah.
It's part of baseball. You're going to need a good grounder. That way you can check the runner and get over. or a strikeout's the main thing that Dobkins needs.
With Dobkins, obviously a strikeout's ideal. That's what he wants. But if he can get a hit into the infield, you kind of trust a lot of the guys. We just saw Miguel with a great play there. Ackerman's a great third baseman to where, I don't know how much Miller's going to test his luck going home on a play, even if the Collegians do, elect to go to first base and get that force out. And so Dobkins, he's going to trust in his infield. But like you said, even though that's a great off-speed pitch there in for strike two, even though, the Collegians do have a great outfield and they trust in them a lot, you can't rely on them, to get a runner out at home with the ball sent into the deep outfield.
Especially in the left right now, you can see Upstill holding his glove up to block the sun that's going down. That's going to be the problem going to the left side of the field. Ackerman's okay because he's in the shade.
Yeah.
But Miguel and Upstill directly in the line of that sun. So that's going to be the problem area. And if I was Barkenhagen, that's where I would be trying to hit the ball. Even on the infield, I still think it could cause a little bit of trouble.
And this one is going to be sent into deep right. Rucco's going to catch it. They're going to throw home, and it's going to not be in time as the Lumberjacks tack on one more run to make this thing 4-2. But that was a great catch there by Rucco. That ball going foul down the right field line, and it looked like he kind of just put his glove up and hoped that it landed in it, and he just put it in the right place.
I did not think that one was going to stay in play. I mean, it barely did, but a great catch by Rucco to get that second out. But just we were talking about anything past the infield, scores a run. And just like that, it's now back to a 2-run game.
As the slider misses for ball one, and that's a tough situation there too, because obviously Rucco's going to get the out. You want to get the out anytime you can, but with the ball hit right there, they're going to score. This one is low for strike one.
So that one going foul, I wasn't sure if the coach over there would have the awareness to get ready to send him. And it was a good IQ play on the third base coach for the Lumberjacks to get that ready just in case.
This one low again, and that one looked pretty similar to the last pitch, but looks like it just missed low for ball two. Two, one. One low and outside brings up 3-1.
But like I said, Lumberjacks doing a good job tonight of keeping it at that 2-run level ever since the start. We'll see if it can continue or not.
And this 3-1 pitch is sent deep into left field. Looks like Upstill's going to be able to get under it, and he does. And you see, he kind of had a little bit of trouble with the sun as, the shade's kind of moving across the field left to right, but he's able to get it. Vogel had his back there. And that retires the side, but not before another run does score to increase this Lumberjacks lead to 4-2 as Nelson comes out to kind of try to hold the Collegians at bay. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third from Boulder. And we're back with the bottom of the third inning as the Collegians find themselves in a rare two-run hole as Miguel, shortstop, leads off and takes that first pitch for strike one from Nelson.
We'll see what the Collegians can do here. I mean, they scored one run in each of the previous two innings. But we'll see if they can come back here. I mean, still a ton of baseball left to play. I mean, since this is a full 9-inning game, then still anybody's chances. And the way these two teams play, it can all change with one swing of the bat at any time.
Miguel gets set for this 0-2. It's the fastball that goes high for ball one. The Collegians will have, 6 9-inning games next week. Back to back to back Monday through Saturday. The 1-2 pitch comes in and Miguel gets contact with this one, but it's a foul. Keeps it 1-2. And I have a feeling that next week against a really talented Alaska Gold Panthers team, they got some players out there that got there late because they were playing in the College World Series. They had a few players from Arizona on that team. They've been playing well in that Alaska League, so it's going to be some good competition for them as this one's outside ball two. So they're not going to get these 11-1 games like they had against the Generals, where they're out of there in 6 innings. They're going to have to go the full 9, and they're going to have to really dig deep.
It's going to be a grind up in Alaska for y'all especially.
As Miguel sends this one into the left center hole, and it drops for a nice leadoff single from him. And that's a good way to bounce back after he was struck out in the first inning.
The Collegians, number 22, Alec Ackerman.
And I think the grind that the Collegians are going to get in Alaska is going to be great to prepare them for Wichita, because that's some of the talent you're going to see there. Because I'm pretty sure the Alaskan League sends their winner to Wichita. A lot of the other bigger leagues do too. And with the Alaskan League, they're a primarily Division I league.
Oh, definitely.
They pull most of their talent from D1 ball, whereas here at the Mile High League, we're a lot of D2 players, a lot of JUCO. We do get some D1 talent, so D1 talent here on the Collegians. I think the Lumberjacks have a couple guys going to University of Northern Colorado, which is D1. But that's going to be the talent. That week is going to prepare you more.
Miguel goes off here, and he'll slide into second and will be safe easily there to put a runner in scoring position.
The Collegians make it look easy to make it look like it's super easy to steal bases.
Oh, and especially, like you said, the top half of this batting order with Bogle and Miguel, those are probably two of the fastest guys. And Jackson Chatterton, who is away from the team right now, but will rejoin them in Alaska, he's another fast guy as well. And all these guys bat, top of the order, anywhere from 1 through 5. This one pitch comes in and it's low and inside, swinging a miss from Ackerman, strike 2.
Anytime the Collegians can get their top 3 guys in order, they're almost guaranteed to get an extra base and get in that scoring position. It's hard for them to stay out of scoring position. And that's another thing that just makes this Collegian team so good and why they're 20-2 in the league.
I'm very impressed with the Lumberjacks today. And Nelson pitching a good game. 2 runs given up. But one thing I've really been impressed with him is that we saw it last night with the Generals. When you give up a run, he kind of stops them. He's like, all right, you may get 1 run on me, but you're not going to get any more. And that's something you see when bats start rolling for Boulder, they'll keep rolling. And so for him to be able to, kind of keep the Collegians at bay, 1 run in each inning, he's going to definitely hope to, get a shutout inning here. But we'll see if he can keep it up as the 2-2 pitch comes up into his windup. And this one's going to sink into the zone, strike 3, and Ackerman knows it. He is struck out looking for out number 1.
Like we talked about, just the previous innings, like last inning, mainly, he gave up that hit by pitch to Lane Oliphant and immediately got 2 outs. One of those was a fly out. He allowed a base runner, then picked him off. And it was stuff like that. And in the first one, he got his 2 outs, let a runner get on, he scored, and then immediately struck out the next batter to get out of it. He's been good at limiting damage so far, and that's a key when you're playing the Collegians, is to limit the damage that's being done, especially when you have somebody like John Gazzar at the plate with somebody in scoring position.
Yeah, we saw Gazzar get an RBI yesterday. With the bases loaded, we'll see what he can do on this 1-0 pitch. Miguel leading off at second, and he's going to take off and go to third, and doesn't even try as Miguel slides easily.
And just like that, you now have a runner just 90 feet away with 1 out. So any fly ball scores a run, especially with the speed of Miguel. And Gazdar had that RBI double in the first. Gazdar is fantastic at getting RBIs.
Hit foul near the parking lot.
It did luckily miss a car. That is a dangerous parking lot here in Scott
It's
Carpenter.
dangerous. I mean, and there's a parking lot out in deep center field that's not as close here to where we're at in the press box, so sometimes it's worth it just to make the walk because you got a big net there covering you, in case one does get sent into center field. This one's going to be sent into deep right, and it's going to drop at the warning track. That will certainly score Miguel easily. Gazdar will get another double. That's his second double of the game, and his second RBI of the game. Help tighten things up now, 4-3. Miguel makes his way home with Sean D coming up to the plate.
2 for 2 with both of them being RBI doubles.
Number 6, Sean D.
Gazdar is just a fantastic hitter, and that one going into right center, that one was definitely going to score no matter what, even if it was caught by Barkenhagen or Miller. But just shows that Gazdar is one of the best to come up when you have somebody in scoring position.
And one thing we talk about all the time is Gazdar steals third here and looks like he's going to get in there safely to put a runner at third. Well, one thing we talked about is how important it is to get a runner on right away. The first batter that comes on, to get them to be a runner. And right there you had a leadoff single from Miguel, and he steals 2 bases, and all of a sudden he's at third base. And it's just, when you guys like Miguel, guys like Vogel, it's almost like you go with a single, then it's like triple. Because they're gonna get to third somehow in the next batter. And Nelson didn't even do anything wrong. He struck out Ackerman, but then he looks over his shoulder and Miguel's at third base all of a sudden. As D sends this one in a deep right center, and this one's gonna drop at the warning track as well. Gazdar's gonna score with ease. And kind of a similar play as to what Gazdar had. Sean D gets an RBI double to tie things up here.
So back-to-back RBI doubles for the Collegians. And this might be the point where if you're the Lumberjacks, you want to look into, can Nelson get out of this?
For the Collegians, number 25, Lane Oliphant.
Because I've got a feeling that Sean D's probably going to steal third here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
The Collegians are a team that they're more likely to steal than they are not to.
Yeah.
Which is not something you often see.
And now they're on Nelson's side, so we'll see. And you see there, he takes a look because he knows it's coming. And so he's going to be a lot more aware now that the runners are on, the side that he's facing as a right-handed pitcher. It's low for ball 1 to the designated hitter, Lane Oliphant.
After giving up these back-to-back doubles, back-to-back RBI doubles at that, I feel like the leash on Nelson just got a little bit shorter. The Collegians are starting to figure him out.
And as we say that, Oliphant sends a great hit into left field, and D he's going to be held up at third base. Puts runners on the corners. Lumberjacks seem to struggle just to get this ball back into the infield, but he's going to stay at home at third.
9, AJ Rucco.
I think there would have been a chance for D. It would, especially if it hadn't been bobbled in left, it would have been a very close play. The smart play was to hold up, but I was surprised to see him not round third as aggressive as the Collegians typically are. But still, runners on the corners with 1 out is still a good situation to be in if you're the Collegians.
Go 0 for 1 on the day, got a fly out to center field. Get on base for the first time today as his fastball misses for ball 1. Nelson kept D kind of on his toes there at second base, wasn't allowing him to lead off, and it paid off because I think if Nelson, wasn't so on top of Sean D and keeping him kind of grounded there, he would have come around third and probably gone home.
Oh, absolutely. Aggressive as the Collegians are on the bases, like I said, if he hadn't been held so close, he definitely would have come on around. And I'm looking at the substitutes that the Lumberjacks have most likely coming out of the pen as we have a quick word on the mound. Probably not going to be a pitching change here, but right now you've got Braden Forrester and Murphy Ganger and Eric Cox. So they're both pitchers. Ganger did pitch on Wednesday. He's typically a starter, but with it being a few days, we could see him come in relief here. Cox has been their main late reliever closer. Typically doesn't come in, but
I'm sure they'd like to see Nelson be able to get out of this one and go a full 3. But you don't want
absolutely
things to get too out of hand quickly, like you said. It's probably a shorter leash here. They're having a word with him. It looks like they're going to trust in him. 1 out. Going to see what he can do. He's behind in the count right now, 3-0. But we'll see if he can catch up.
So this past week down in Pueblo is where I was. Eric Cox pitched twice, but he didn't pitch a ton. And they didn't use many pitchers in game 2. They used 3, which was Ganger the start, and he went until I believe it was the 4th or 5th inning before he was relieved, and then Eric Cox came in.
And there's Rucco with a single in center field to score Sean D against Oliphant, and just like that, 1 inning after being behind 2 runs, Collegians dig out of that hole and go up 5-4.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 5, Garrett Fisher.
Another RBI here, and yeah, they now have a 1-run lead. So it's got to be tough on Nelson here after such a strong start and being able to hold the Collegians low to just 1 run in each of the first 2 innings to go ahead and give up 3 here with just 1 out. There's nobody in the pen for the Lumberjacks right now whatsoever. So this is looking like it's going to be Nelson's to get out of.
Just as we were, complimenting Nelson on doing so well to keep the Collegians at bay and not let them get too many runs, he gives up 3 in this inning. And all of this still with 1 out. As Fisher gets under this one and sends it into left field, and it's into shallow left, so Oliphant's going to test his luck, and they can't get the ball in from left field, and Oliphant's going to score and make this thing 6-4.
There's another one of those that just a well-placed hit. Wasn't anything special, but it did the right job, and it was able to score Oliphant.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 23, Nick Upstills.
And it's one of those things that it's a strategy that you don't see a ton anymore, especially in your main conference games. But from what I've seen, one thing that the Collegians struggle with is their first time through the lineup with the pitcher. And if I was another team, pitching by committee would be the best way to approach the Collegians. But even then, I'm sure they could figure it out just as easily. Like I said, well, Upstill already has a RBI single on the day. I mean, most of the lineup looks like they have an RBI next to their name now.
Production from everywhere. That you see from the Collegians. Like we said, Fisher's been struggling a lot, but he has 2 hits on the day already. One of them an RBI, and that's 3 hits in a row for him as well.
And right now, the only player without a hit right now is the leadoff guy, Ryan Vogel. Everybody else has a hit or something close to it.
And with Ryan Vogel, that's not something you're too worried about. He's, grounded out to third, and then he got a strikeout. I have no doubt, he's in the on-deck circle right now. I have no doubt that he'll get on the base path at least once today.
Oh, absolutely. And the job that Vogel does in the outfield, the speed he has, is no reason to take him out of the lineup because he will get on when it's needed.
The dangerous ball sent into shallow left, and looks like it's going to be called foul. That's number 21, Isaac Smith, laying out for that one, not able to get it. But that one barely missed out of the left field foul line. So a little bit of a break there for the Lumberjacks. Count gets even at 2 apiece with Nick Upstill. Nick Upstill rounding out the order. Second time through with Ryan Vogel on deck.
Lucky break there for Upstill on that one as Smith was close to catching it. Just ran out of real estate. I said, Lumberjacks needing to get out of this one.
This one outside. Brings up a full count.
And the Collegians racked up 4 runs on 6 hits just in this inning alone, all with 1 out.
Two. Up still slashes at this one, keeps it alive. Up in that pitch count even more from Nelson. As Fisher and Ruka will stay where they're at first and second.
And there is now action down there in that Lumberjack bullpen. It is number 32, Eric Cox, it looks like, who will most likely come up whenever Nelson's time is done. So typically he comes in later, but it's not really that surprising to me to see him coming in this situation, as he is a very good reliever for this Lumberjacks team.
Low and inside, up still swings at this one. They're able to get the force out at first, as Ruko is caught slipping off third a little bit. Safe though, as he advances to third base and Fisher advances to second.
So this will be the 9th batter up for the Collegians this inning. They will have batted the entire lineup. Vogel's looking for his first hit. It wouldn't be surprised with this situation right now that with it there being 2 outs, that he doesn't bring somebody in.
Right down the middle, called for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch comes in, and this one is going to be sent foul.
Vogel has struck out once. See, that was back in the second to end that inning. That's one of the things. Vogel's been just such a good all-around player for the Collegians this year. I know they're happy to see him back in the lineup.
Misses low and outside and brings up 1 and 2. The 1-2 coming up. This one is going to be rounded to short, handled easily, and it looks like Vogel outruns it and gets himself an infield hit. Frustration all around, you can see from the Lumberjacks, as that was a great opportunity for them to get out of the inning. And Nelson very upset. You can tell he just wants to get out of this one. And another run scores as Ruko comes home. Fisher advances to third, and Vogel will get himself a single.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 8, Brady Miguel.
Just what we were talking about with Vogel looking for his first hit. He's got that speed that he's dangerous no matter where he hits it. Just like that, what's normally a routine out to short, because Paschke sat back on it a little bit, which wasn't necessarily a bad call. 9 times out of 10, that's what you're supposed to do.
And there's Vogel taking off, and he's going to lay out as Fisher comes home, and he's going to be safe at home. What a play there. Vogel gets a jump start to second base. Naha tries to get him out at second, and Fisher with that lead off from third base will come home and score to increase this lead to 8-4. That makes it 6 runs just in this inning alone. That leaves just the lone base runner Vogel on second.
A perfectly executed double still there. Just how they drew that up, trying to get Vogel to draw the throw. I was surprised that Naha decided to go for it.
Definitely. With Vogel, it's going to be difficult to get there, as this is in for strike 1. It's going to be difficult to get him out in the first place, but let alone with a runner on third. You think he would have just kept it, but I think he maybe thought he had a chance to get that third out at second. Unfortunately, it comes back to haunt the Lumberjacks as Brady Miguel is back up behind on an 0-2 count. Which comes in, bounces off the plate. Ball 1.
Like, Naha's a good catcher. We don't have a ton of throw-em-out catchers in the league this year. But he's a good catcher. He has thrown people out before, but when you've got somebody with the speed of Vogel, that's just not a good idea, especially with a runner on third. I mean, if there's nobody else is there, So that one got
There.
away from Naha. And an easy head on into third base for Vogel.
Vogel and Miguel, I'm telling you, a single is a triple. And Miguel earlier in this inning, the same thing that Vogel just did, got a single, made his way all the way to third. On the next at bat, now with a 2-2 count, Miguel's in a great position to possibly send Vogel home. 2-2 comes in, off-speed pitch, misses outside for ball 3.
At this point, you're up by 4. All the momentum is on the side of the Collegians. The speed of Vogel, I want to see him still home.
Yeah.
Just be aggressive. Just go for it.
Wouldn't surprise me on a full count here also.
Yeah. You might as well.
And this one's strike 3. Unfortunate for Miguel. You can see he's frustrated there. That's his second strikeout of the game. That will be strike 3, but not before 6 runs score for Boulder to blow this thing wide open after being down 4-2 going into the inning. They come out of the third up 8-4 as we'll head back into the top of the fourth. Theo Dopkins will remain on the mound. We'll be right back from Boulder.
Including enchiladas, tacos, burritos.
Top of the fourth we go with Theo Dopkins remaining on the mound as Luke Frederick sends one to third base and Ackerman's able to handle it easy. First pitch for out number 1.
Just in typical routine play there for Ackerman. Had plenty of time as Frederick's not the speediest guy on the bases. Just a simple grounder to third on that one to get a quick out number 1.
Number 16. Now batting number 16, AJ Naha.
Definitely what Dopkins wants, to get a leadoff out. Goes into his windup here. Sent this one. It looks like I was in the zone, but called ball 1.
Sometimes those first outs can be the most important. Sometimes they're the hardest to get. Other times it just takes one pitch like it did for Frederick.
Naha 1 for 1 on the day. Single and scored a run. So he'll look to continue that. This one goes out for ball 2 from Dopkins.
I said Naha got on that allowed Mattis to come up, who's on deck, who had that 3-run homer.
Slider that missed, so that puts us in at 3-0.
So not where Dopkins wants to be after getting a 1-pitch out, but
Can't find the zone there. 4 straight balls. He's a little frustrated with himself there to put another runner on.
Batting for Will Matos.
so the zone has been a little inconsistent tonight. Also, I got another courtesy runner and Dylan McKee coming in. But Mattis, the guy who put one out here back in the second inning, said he is a freshman out of Cochise College down in Arizona. But another local Aurora, Colorado guy.
Fastball misses 1-0. And foul near the parking lot.
Oh! That shattered a windshield. Yes, I saw glass flying on that one.
As we were just talking about, such a dangerous parking lot area. The kids are out there looking for the foul ball. But right here we have a little bit of a pickle. As D is going to chase down. That's the pinch runner coming in.
I believe that's going to go down as a 1-3-6-3 play on that one.
Yeah, I
started to lose track. And I can't tell if it hit the foul ball hit the blue car at the first one or the one next to it, but it was one of those two. So some unlucky fan will be needing a new window. Were you parked out there again, Devin?
I am parked out there, but it looks like my car is fine. I'm kind of guarded by a big F-150 out there, so.
Not a bad place to be.
Should be safe. 1-2 comes in from Hopkins. This one way high, ball 2. And that play, you know, the Lumberjacks bring in a pinch runner, caught in a pickle, and Sean D just kind of takes matters in his own hands and just chases him down on his way to second. Not really sure how to score that. Kickoff, we'll probably just label it as that, but Hopkins with the 2-2. This one sent straight at him into center field for a single from Matos.
So Mattis has been having a pretty good day here. So that would have, if it wasn't for that pickle, that would have put one in scoring position with one out. But instead, just one on first here with one out for Paschke, who's 0 for 1.
Not much more you can ask for from Matos today. Responsible for 3 of the runs, scored, and now gets himself on base with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Hopkins going to keep his eye on him there as a left pitcher at first. End up in strike number 1.
Paschke, a sophomore out of the Metropolitan State University of Denver. Originally from Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
High, and Hopkins having some trouble finding the zone right now. Pitch is going a little bit high, so he'll look to regroup as he is pitching on 1-1 count now. 1-1. Swing and a miss there. Strike 2. Great pitch. Paschke's going to look to avoid to go 0-2.
A solid pitch there from Hopkins. Just like you said, Paschke trying to avoid going 0-2 and trying to keep this inning alive to give the Lumberjacks a spark or something.
1-2. Strike 3. He catches him looking, and Hopkins is fired up there. You could tell, you know, maybe his confidence was slipping a little bit, not finding the zone, but being able to get the last batter out looking is definitely going to fire him up, and we'll see if he pitches another inning. But great inning from him there. Shutout inning, his second of the game as we head into the bottom half of the 4th with the Collegians still up big, 8-4. We'll be right back from Boulder. Back with the bottom of the fourth inning as Alec Ackerman will lead off for the Collegians as a new comes in. Eric Cox. First pitch, ball 1.
Eric Cox in here.
And this pitch will be sent into left field as a leadoff single gets a runner on for the Collegians.
Cox coming in here as a reliever. That's been his main role this season since he joined the team. Another sophomore out of Metropolitan State University of Denver from Aurora and Cherokee High School. He's been a solid reliever so far. He came in this past week twice against the Collegians of Spradley and held them to low scores.
First pitch to Gazdar is low for ball 1.
Gazdar's had a fantastic day so far. 2 for 2, both of those being doubles and both of those being RBI. Can't ask for much better than that. We'll see what he does here, as for the first time, the runner's not in scoring position for Gazdar. Granted, could very well be at any point with a stolen base.
Sends this one into right field. This one's going to be popped up and out. Ackerman will stay at first. That is in for out number 1.
You're not going to get hit every single time. Being 2 for 2 with 2 RBI doubles is not a bad way to go, and even just with a fly out to right, you're still making contact. D's 1 for 2 on the day. We'll see what he can do here with the runner still on first.
Chops this one foul to bring up 0-1.
Now, unless the floodgates continue to open again, I don't foresee the Mercer rule being an issue tonight. You never know. I mean, the Collegians did just put up 6 in an inning.
As this one is sent into that left field gap for Sean D's first hit of the game. Or, excuse me, Sean D had an RBI double. That's his second hit of the game.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 25, Blake Oliphant.
Sean D's done a good job of bouncing back after starting the game off with a strikeout back in the first. Responded with 2 straight hits, one of those being an RBI double. It shows that even when you start off slow, the Collegians still don't get behind. Or they can still easily come back. They don't get discouraged by anything.
And this one's going to be a bouncer. They're going to get the force out at third. And that'll be all they get, but that's a big play there. As that brings up 2 outs.
Smart play there by Mattis to go ahead and get the lead runner.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 9, A.J. Rucco.
But on that fielder's choice, I mean, you could have gotten the out at first, but with Mattis being that close to third, smart choice is definitely just step on the bag, get the lead runner, and keep the Collegians from having 2 in scoring position. Because they would have had 2 in scoring position with 2 outs, which meant 90% of the time there's going to be an RBI about to be hit.
First pitch in, called for strike 1.
And Rucco has had a 1-out RBI so far. That he's 1 for 2 on the day. Cox doing a pretty good job coming in here to take over.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get out of this one with no runs scored. Collegians have scored in every inning so far. As this one's sent right down the middle, and as we say that, Sean D looks like he's going to go home. Oliphant's going to go to third, and he'll be safe. Rucco's going to go to second. And that'll put 2 runners in scoring position. That'll score Sean D and put the Collegians up 9-4.
Just a chopper ground ball that went right up the middle, well out of the range of Paschke and Race. There's nothing they could really do there.
Garrett Fisher.
That one's going to be hit foul.
Brings up 0-1.
Everybody clap your hands.
But that was a good hit there by Ruocco.
Swing and a miss there on a high pitch brings up 0-2. And Fisher's had himself a good day as well. An RBI single on his past at-bat, and then he came and scored a run. And on his first at-bat, got himself a single, but he got picked off by Nelson. But we'll see what he can do on an 0-2 count with 2 runners in scoring position. That's Ruocco at second, Oliphant at third. The 0-2 pitch. This one is hit deep into right, and it's going to be handled easily by the Lumberjacks, but not before another run is tacked on to increase this Collegians lead to 9-4, heading into the top of the 5th inning. We'll be right back from Boulder. New pitcher in for the Collegians as Theo Dawkins is done for the day. The starter for Boulder. He pitched 4 innings. And in for him is the right-handed pitcher, Garrett Jensen. He comes in to pitch against Isaac Smith, the right fielder.
So Smith pumped up to catcher to end the 2nd inning.
Swings and misses there for strike 2.
Smith has been he's been a consistent outfielder so far. Hits have been here or there. All right, so we'll see what he can do against Jensen to start.
1-2 swing and a miss. Great start from Jensen. Definitely what he was looking for. Leadoff strikeout for him, and that gives us 1 out with us back to the top of the order with Quincy Miller.
Miller 0 for 1 day with a strikeout, but did walk and scored a run after making it over to third. Miller, a sophomore out of St. Mary's University in San Antonio, Texas.
His first pitch from Jensen goes outside for a 1-0 count.
So Miller, a solid ball player. He came to St. Mary's in Texas out of Western Nebraska Junior College, and before that, from Centennial, Colorado, and Cherry Creek High School. So he's kind of been the main center fielder this season for the Lumberjacks.
2-0 comes in and outside, and so after a leadoff strikeout for Garrett Jensen in his outing, he throws 3 straight balls, and so he'll try to get back into the strike zone on this 3-0 count. He throws it in, and this one does just that, dots the edge of the zone for strike number 1.
This top part of the lineup is typically been the most consistent for the Lumberjacks, but today not necessarily so much. It's been the middle of the meat of the lineup that's really done it.
And there's another great pitch there. Looks like he went to a breaking ball to bring up 3-2.
Yeah, good job by Jensen to battle back here after being down 3-0 to bring it to a full count.
3-2. This one low and handled by Fisher.
It looks like we have a pinch hitter coming in. We'll see if that replaces Kevin Race or not. But McKee been in and out of the lineup. He's usually been switching over with Paschke for the shortstop position, but we'll see if he takes over for second base with Kevin Race. McKee, a freshman out of the University of Northern Colorado.
1-0 pitch comes in, and there's another fastball. 2 straight fastballs from Jensen out of the gate. And that evens things up at 1-1.
So Jensen, the 6'3" right-hander out of San Francisco State, where he just finished up his sophomore season. Another one of the players on this collegiate team is out of California. Jensen calls Brentwood, California, home.
So he goes into his windup on the 1-1, and this one misses low, 2-1. Miller will stay on first. As we have 1 out in the top of the 5th inning, a 2-1 count for Garrett Jensen going against Dylan McKee, batting in place of Kevin Race. As the 2-1 from Jensen is in, and this one is going to be low, called ball 3.
Once again, we see Jensen start to fall behind in the count. We'll see if he can catch back up like he did last time and hopefully win on top of this one. But Collegians are up by 5. A walk here and there isn't going to hurt them.
The 3-1, and this one's going to be low again. Kind of 2 identical pitches there where you can see he's trying to find the bottom of the zone and just misses low to put 2 runners on.
So not a great start for Jensen, but so Barkenhagen comes up. He is pretty much 0 for 0 for it, because with the sac fly and the walk don't count as at bats. So
And Jensen finds the zone here on him for strike 1.
he's found
but Barkenhagen getting some production with that sac fly on his previous at-bat to send a run in, as that was the one sent out to Rucco out on first base line. This one's going to be chopped foul right over the Collegians dugout, and now 0-2, so Jensen finds himself ahead in the count.
And that RBI from Barkenhagen back in the 3rd scored the last run that we've seen from the Lumberjacks.
And that put him up 4-2, and since then they've been outscored 7-0. So
7 unanswered runs is not great if you're the Lumberjacks.
Swing and a miss there. Great pitch from Jensen. And after 2 back-to-back walks, he gets his 2nd strikeout.
But that was a good pitch there from Jensen. A great way, to, like you said, to come back after giving up 2 walks. And now just 1 pitch away from getting out of it, even though you've put 2 on.
Two outs. Jensen takes a look over his right shoulder. He goes into his windup. And this one's going to be popped up down the first base line. Looks like Sean D's going to call him off and get that one for out number 3. So few walks for Jensen, but overall, pretty decent start from him. Pair of strikeouts, and then gets a pop out there. But that's another shutout inning, as the Collegians will head into the bottom half of the 5th. Still up 9-4. We'll be right back. Collegians back up to bat as Nick Upstill is here to round out the order for the third time as he takes that one for strike one. Eric Cox is going to remain on the mound after pitching after only giving up one run there in the bottom of the fourth. This next pitch goes outside for ball one.
Yeah, not a terrible start for Cox there in the fourth inning. But I mean, not necessarily great either. Allowed some runners to get on, but was able to get out of it. I've seen in the past where it takes him a little bit to warm up, like we've seen with most pitchers in this league. Honestly, it takes him a couple batters to get warmed up and get in the zone. And it looks like we will have a replacement out at second base. McKee now playing second base.
This fastball misses low for ball three. As Upstill finds himself 1 for 2 on the day. Rounded out too short on his last at-bat as this 3-1 count puts him on first with a walk. And then in his first at-bat, he had an RBI single. So he finds himself on base as we're back to the top here with Ryan Vogel.
Number 1, Ryan Vogel.
Vogel comes back up. He is 1 for 3 today with that RBI single back in the third. The freshman out of Bradley University in Illinois. Another D1 ball player, originally from Metamora, Illinois. One of the further east players.
And off goes Upstill, and good thing he went off. They could have turned 2 there possibly if he hadn't gotten in a head start, with Vogel sending that one straight back to Cox and him getting the force out at first. But Upstill advances to second, and that gives us 1 out.
Dangerous choice to let the lead runner get on. I think Cox would have had a chance to get the force out at second, but the safe bet was to go to first to go ahead and get an out. But Brady McGillis has also had a pretty good – I mean, he's 1 for 3 as well with a single and a run scored.
He's had a few strikeouts, where he's been a victim of the maybe inconsistent calling we've seen. And so he's looking to try to get the bat swinging as Cox is going to have a word with his catcher with a runner on second base. In the on-deck circle is Alec Ackerman.
These two not the people, if you're the Lumberjacks, you want to see with the runner in scoring position at any point. Especially with
not. And with Ackerman in the on-deck circle, 4 RBIs yesterday. And then, a hit today as well. He's just dangerous right now. Miguel takes this one for ball 1.
Just like you're saying, Ackerman had that single in the first and scored the first run for the Collegians. Got on base again in the fourth. Ended up getting out on a force out with a fielder's choice. But dangerous at any point in the game.
And Miguel sends this one back to the backstop to even things up at 1 apiece.
Miguel just finished up his freshman year at California State University, Monterey Bay, originally from Hollister, California. One of several Californians that made the trip to to Boulder for this season.
Brady gets a hack there. Goes foul for 1 and 2. And like we said, primarily plays, utility guy kind of in the infield. We've seen him all across the diamond, honestly. But shortstop's his main position. And that's something that it's really good to see him getting some reps at shortstop because it's hard. You have 2 very talented shortstops in Gazdar and Miguel. So you got to try and split the time any way you can there. But today he's going to get the start at short. This one is set into the gap in center field. Upstill's going to round third and come home with ease as Miguel gets himself an RBI single and get the score up into double digits for Boulder and make this thing 10-4.
Well, what I said earlier might not be as accurate now. I said earlier that we might not be getting near the Mercerville territory, but it looks like we could be closing in on that with the way the Collegians have been putting up numbers. Scored in every inning.
And we'll see. Not a particularly fast game going right now, but even if this thing does go 9 innings, it might not end too late. Yesterday, a very quick game as Ackerman swings and misses at this first pitch, especially with it going 6 after that run rule. Got out of here in about 2 hours.
So
with all these double headers, it is nice sometimes to get out a little early, especially for these players, man.
Oh,
Who are out,
absolutely.
playing 2 games a day, a few times a week. It's nice for them to have a 6-inning game, get some rest, especially with the loaded games coming up.
And especially with what you have to, the grind you're about to have in Alaska. It's good to be able to sit back and only have the 9-inning game. I think you only have 1 game tomorrow at Horizon against the Roughnecks, so that could. The Collegians keep playing like they have been since they played the Larks. That one might not go the full 9 either.
Exactly, yeah.
And if we go by the ruling we saw yesterday, which I guess it's supposed to be is 10 after 5, which I thought it was 10 after 7, but if it's 10 after 5, then we could be nearing that if they played 4 more runs here or at any other point from here on out, as long as the Lumberjacks don't score.
Well, we saw in the 3rd inning them get 6 runs, and a lot of those with 1 out. Here we are, 1 out. Ackerman up to the plate. 1 run already scored in the inning. Can this be another, rally inning for the Collegians where they rack up a lot of runs?
See, typically you like to see crooked numbers in multiple boxes on the scoreboard. Today you've only got it in 1, but a big crooked number that is, and having that 6 with all other innings having 1 so far. And granted, this inning's not done yet. Could very easily put up another crooked number.
Ackerman strikes out there. That's his 2nd strikeout of the day. Strikes out swinging. And so after a good day from him yesterday, struggling a little bit today, but nonetheless still has a hit on the day, so not too bad as Gazdar comes up to the plate with a pair of RBI doubles. Off goes Miguel. Is he going to slide in time? He is. Second baseman unable to handle that and get the tag, so that puts a runner in scoring position for Gazdar.
And Gazdar with 2 RBI doubles already on the day, 2 for 3. And like you mentioned, Miguel turns the single into a double.
And we'll see if he can turn this into a triple because he's leading off a little bit there at second, and not sure Cox is going to be aware of him, but Nelson very aware as this one's going to be grounded to third. Should be an easy play for the Lumberjacks. They do get the easy force out at first. Only 1 run given up, but still, Collegians slowly extending this lead, adding another run in the past 2 innings, adding a run in each inning, and making this thing now 10-4. They are up 6 now as we head into the 6th inning of play. We'll be right back from Boulder. Jensen will remain on the mound as he catches the left arm of Luke Frederick, the designated hitter here, to put a leadoff runner on base for the Lumberjacks.
We saw first strikeout, but we saw some early base runners last time from Jensen. Looks like we're going to see something similar here. Naha coming up. 1 for 1 on the day with a walk and a run scored. Said, been up and down so far this season.
And Jensen turns to his fastball there and gets a strike 1. And Jensen had a very good first inning. coming out, getting 2 strikeouts, had a pair of walks, but was able to kind of gather himself and then regroup. But we'll see if he can continue that. He gets another runner on base, and that's a beautiful breaking ball as well that drops into the zone for strike 2. All over the place Jensen is. It seems like one batter, he can't find the zone, and then the next one, he's throwing fastballs at him. He's switching up with some breaking balls, some off-speed pitches.
It's one of those things when you've got a 6-run lead.
And this one's going to be batted into the second base gap. They're going to throw to third. Miguel's going to cut that one off. That will advance Frederick to second as Naha gets himself a single.
Well, what I was saying was when you've got the 6-run lead that you do, as we're getting into the second half of the ball game, and with the Lumberjacks struggling with the bats like they have been, it's almost like Jensen wants to, try out a new pitch or try to find the different locations where it's not as big of a situation if it was still tied or the Collegians be behind. I feel like it'd be completely different pitching from Jensen given the situations. And
now he finds himself in a situation going against Will Matos, who is kind of the last guy you want to see with 2 runners on with the day he's been having with that home run and the single he had in his last at-bat.
So, like you said, Matos is having a fantastic day.
This one drops into the zone, catches the outside for strike 1.
So one not like I've seen a ton this season. Like I said, he's been more quiet in the lineup than he was today with the long ball and the other single. But it's good to see Matos getting the at-bats, getting some confidence up, even though if it is here in the back half of the season. So Mattis plays for Coach I's College in Arizona. So hopefully he can carry some of the confidence back to school that he's picking up here.
And it's good to have, these type of games late in the season, especially if this fastball catches the zone for strike 2. Because a lot of these teams, the Lumberjacks, you were broadcasting earlier with the 14ers, Bandits, Generals last night. This is kind of their last week of summer ball before they go back to their teams. And a lot of those guys, they'll play some club ball in the fall with their teams, but this is really the last week of baseball for the summer. And so they're going to look to, go into that off season with some confidence as Matos fouls this one off to keep it at 1-2.
And as you're talking about this being the last week of the regular season here with the MHCBL, it's, for me anyways, it's hard to believe that we're already done with the True League play stuff. When I came out here at the end of May, I think I showed up here like May 22nd. It's hard to believe that it's already been just about 2 months. It's gone by incredibly fast. But when you work 6 days a week almost, it's going to go by pretty quick. Because that's been, with us working for the league, we've been at games just about every day. There was a stretch of about 16 days straight, I believe, we were at a game. And then we had like a couple rain delays that gave us a day off.
Yeah.
But it's been fantastic. Good to be here and get to be a part of, getting to see all the teams play. Because every team has their own personality. It's a very fun league here in Colorado.
And it's cool to see all around the metro area and going down to Pueblo as well as Bradley, and then up here in Boulder. You have teams, Bandits up in Fort Collins. You have Collegians and 14ers up here in Boulder, Bradley down in Pueblo. You got teams from all over. And so it's nice. It really truly is the Mile High Collegiate Baseball League. And so I'm very excited as he catches Matos looking strike 3, and that's a big strikeout against a very good batter for Jensen. And so he gets his 3rd strikeout in the first out of the inning. But really excited to see where the league can go from here. I think that they've done a great job with their coverage. And like you said, you guys are at every game you can. And there's games every single day, double headers all the time.
It looks like up batting now is number 3, Taylor Clayman.
Now batting number 3, Taylor Clayman.
And Clayman going to come in for Paschke right now and hit for him with runners on first and second. His first pitch is dropped by Fisher, and both runners are going to advance to second and third. See if the Lumberjacks can get some of these runners in, maybe cut into this Collegians lead a little bit.
Like you're talking about the work that the intern group has done, I have to pat my intern group on the back. We have done a fantastic job. I say my intern group. It's not like I'm in charge. We're all interns. There's a group of 5 of us. We all work very well.
You guys are a team, though. You guys work together, and
Our group has worked our butts off this summer, laying a lot of foundations for hopefully to see some growth here in the next couple of years with the league. Really hoping to kind of grow a little bit, maybe get some more interns so some other teams can have some extra help that they might need. But yeah, looking forward to a bright future here with the MHCBL. And like you're talking about, with us being from as far south as Pueblo all the way up to Fort Collins, me coming from Arkansas, never been out this far. I'd been out to New Mexico one time for a church trip, which didn't really get to see the area for that. To come out here and get to spend the summer out here and being traveling all across the state has been absolutely amazing. And this is just a fantastic state to have a summer league in. And up and down the Front Range. I mean, it's from, like I said, from Fort Collins all the way down to Pueblo. It's fantastic. I've loved my summer here so far.
And it's great to see, people like you coming out here as this one's fouled off to bring up a 3-2 count. See people coming out here and really seeing, what West Coast baseball is all about, what Colorado baseball is all about. And, we want to try to expand this league as much as you can. And I know that that's something that you've been looking at and that you've tried to lay the foundation for, is this league growing in the future. And you guys have done a great job with that. And with the addition of the Collegians and the 14ers coming in, and like you said, the Collegians, getting players from all over, it's bringing college baseball back to Colorado, with no Division I programs at CSU, CU, University of Denver. It's nice to have some high-quality college baseball all throughout the Front Range that people can go to.
Oh, absolutely. It's weird for me to see your flagship universities not have baseball. It's one of the big, like in the South, we always just talk about the big three sports: football, basketball, and baseball. I know out here, soccer's bigger and hockey's big out here.
Strike three. He catches him swinging, and Jensen getting some confidence going with runners on second and third. He's going to try and get out of this one.
And it's good to see that kind of grow here. And I'm really hoping it comes back, that there's some more better facilities built. Like, this is a good facility. Runyon's complex down in Pueblo is an old historic facility.
All-Star Park is
yes.
a great facility as well, and that's where a lot of the state championships are for the high school teams and stuff.
And
so there are facilities, there are things here to make baseball grow, and you want to see it. And this is the field right here where the University of Colorado used to play. And there's a lot of history on this field that we're at right now. And so we would just like to see that come back. Is there going to be Colorado baseball Division I level? Who knows? You'd like to see it. They're the only Pac-12 team right now. I currently go to the University of Colorado, so I'd like to see a baseball team there. They're the only Pac-12 team right now without one. But this is a start. This is how you get people interested. This is how you start to maybe get some people to think, do we need a program? As this ball drops in and he swings for strike one.
And like this, you have people who come out on, this is a Friday night, still here at 9 o'clock to see a college league team. You could definitely pull people if you built a facility here at CU Boulder, or let's say they expanded this, redid Scott Carpenter. Keep the history here. Being so close to CU, it'd be good to see it happen if they do get a program, because it throws me off whenever I see a Power 5 school without baseball. Like, I can think of one of the ACC is Syracuse. They don't have baseball. I was looking at that place for grad school, and I was just like, how do you not have baseball? It's America's pastime. It's one of the oldest sports. How do you just not have baseball? I mean, I was like, every school should have baseball.
And it's crazy because a lot of people try to say, well, the springtime's hard in Colorado. Well, the University of Utah, as he swings and misses their strike three, and Jensen gets himself another strikeout. And Jensen putting on a show here. And leaves runners on second and third and does not allow any more damage to be done as he pitches another shutout inning. Back to what we were talking about, the University of Utah has one. They have a similar climate to where we're at right now. They have baseball there, and you see teams up in the Northeast have teams as well.
Well, the University of Wyoming has a baseball team.
Yeah.
And they're up another 1,500 feet higher than we are here. They get more. I mean, they get just as much snow as there is here. It's just as cold. And they still have baseball. That's a D1 program. I don't see why there's not ones here at CU and CSU. It'd be a big draw. I think that's a good place to get money and get back into the community. Because football and basketball, you always get packed, and it's not as relaxed. Baseball's it's always been to me a fun, relaxed kind of family atmosphere. You go enjoy a ball game for a while. Not as high intensity. It has its moments, but that's one of the things I like about baseball. It's just relaxed and a lot easier to sit and watch.
And it's frustrating when I look at the College World Series going on. I watch the Pac-12 tournament, on TV, and I don't see my school competing. It is a little hard to see that. And it's hard because they had a team back in the '80s, and that's when they disbanded. But it's hard to get that program back.
Yeah.
You got to get the funding. You have to almost start from square one. So it's just really unfortunate that 30, 40 years ago the program did go away because it makes it almost impossible to bring it back.
I agree. And with me coming from Arkansas, where college sports is the thing, we don't have any pro sports in Arkansas except for a couple of AA teams.
Sean D.
We have college teams, and the University of Arkansas is basically our, let's say, our out here Rockies or the Broncos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's us. That's what we have. And so much emphasis is put on your big three sports in Arkansas, and it's in my opinion, that proves that they make money. Because Arkansas has a facility that holds 11,000, and they pack it out all the time.
This one's going to be fouled off. This is Sean D right now up to the plate. Sean D currently 2 for 3 on the day. He's got struck out in his first at bat, had an RBI double, and then got himself a base hit and a run in the 4th inning. The 1-1 pitch comes into him, and this one's going to be high for ball 2. Now, it's something that you'd like to see, and I'm glad the University of Northern Colorado has it. And we have a few players, Fisher and Isdale, that play on that team as the 2-1 pitch comes in, and this one's going to catch the inside of the zone for strike 2 on D.
And UNC has a deep history with college baseball. I remember just seeing a random graphic on like Twitter or something talking about most appearances at the College World Series. There was almost a decade.
And D sends this one, and just based off the crowd reaction right away, you knew that thing was going to be out of here. That thing left the park quick, and he knew that was out. What a hit from Sean D, and he's just proven, especially in the second half of the year. I've noticed ever since we've gotten back from Hayes, he's been just a home run machine, it seems like. And it's great to see him, get a leadoff home run there. Haven't seen a home run yet today from the Collegians, so it's nice to see that. Lumberjacks had one for themselves, but D with a nice home run there.
And the streak of scoring in every inning continues. But what we were talking about was with the University of Northern Colorado, I remember seeing that number of teams with the most appearances at the College World Series back in the early days of the College World Series. They led it for a decade. They were always there. And
this one's going to drop it. Oliphant he's going to be out at first. The second baseman there for the Lumberjacks had some trouble fielding that. Fumbled it a little bit. Oliphant looked like he was maybe going to beat the throw, but can't beat it at first, and that's good for out number 1.
Number 9, AJ Rucco.
Yeah, that was Clayman who's moved over to second. McKee went ahead and moved on over to short. He said Lumberjacks starting to mix it up just a little bit.
AJ Rucco comes up to bat now. RBI double on his last at bat. He's 2 for 3 now. He swings and misses at this one for strike 1.
Yeah, Rucco's had a very good day today, bouncing back from that first flyout with 2 RBIs.
Hits this one foul. And strike 3, he's caught swinging there. And so 2 quick outs from the Lumberjacks after that leadoff home run from D brings us to Garrett Fisher.
Fisher's 2 for 3 today with an RBI and a run scored.
Now batting number 5,
He got
Garrett
picked off
Fisher.
back in the second, but hasn't really looked back after that. The ball to right that was a fairly well hit ball. He's made contact every at bat. Like I said, you talked about yesterday how he had that walk-off double. Or walk-off run rule double, however you want to word that one. Fisher, a freshman out of, like you were talking about, Northern Colorado, from Fort Collins. And he's been a solid catcher, it seems like, this season in that rotation.
Local guy makes his way down here to play baseball here as he sends this one up and looks like it's going to be handled in the infield. Maybe it's going to drop. Nope. Going to be handled by the shortstop. So they go in order after the Sean D home run, but that Sean D home run, as you said, keeps the streak of a run being scored in every inning alive. But the Collegians increase their lead to 7 runs now, up 11-4, as we head to the top of the 7th inning. We'll be right back from Boulder. Top of the 7th, as a solo shot home run from Sean D extends this comfortable Collegians lead out to 7, 11-4. New pitcher on the mound. This is Mike Manley. He's a new addition to the Collegians roster. So he goes into his windup for his first pitch and finds the bottom corner of the zone there for strike number 1. He goes to San Francisco State University, where every pitcher that's played today is from there. Garrett Jensen and Theo Dobkins also from there. So all 3 pitchers coming from there as the 0-1 comes in, swings and misses. This is Quincy Miller, strike 2.
Also have a couple of rotations, as you mentioned said during the break, that it looks like Miguel has moved over to first and D has moved down to short. Everybody else appears to be the same.
The 0-2 comes in, and this is a beautiful breaking ball that drops in for strike 3. Leadoff strikeout for him as Miller just looks at that one and walks back to the dugout with Dylan McKee coming up to the plate.
Yeah, not much you can do with that one. That was just an absolutely beautiful pitch from Manley on that one.
And Manley off to a good start in his career out here in Boulder. Again, came out about a week ago, competed in the game on Monday in the second game against Batters Box and had a 1-2-3 inning there. This one drops in low for ball 1. And they're definitely going to need him up in Alaska with how many games they're going to be playing. You're going to see them go through a lot of pitchers up there, and that's something that Collegians always hang their hats on, is their pitching depth. And so here's really where they got to dig deep, as the 1-0 pitch comes in, and this one's going to be sent into deep right field. Rucco's going to call off and get under that for out number 2.
Quick 2 outs there now after the strikeout, now the fly out. It looks like Barkenhagen's now up. Barkenhagen 0 for 1 now with the strikeout. He's walked and has had an RBI sac fly.
So an interesting day for him. He's going to probably look to get a clean hit, get on base.
Now batting number 34, Micah Barkenhagen.
So able to find a little bit of a bio on Mike Manley from San Francisco State. Originally from Tracy, California, where he went to West High School. And before making it to San Francisco State, he played at Diablo Valley College. But hey, another, I'm sure, great addition to this Collegians team, as he's already started off strong here.
0-1 comes in and gets himself ahead on a quick 0-2.
I talked about playing pretty much 6 games straight. You're going to need that pitching depth. And you're going to need your pitchers to go a little bit longer than maybe they typically do to be able to stretch out the bullpen. Either that or everybody more or less throws a bullpen every day and it's pitched by committee.
This one's going to be, looks like a strike 3 drop, going to be listed as a strikeout though. So quick 1-2-3 inning for Manley, and he goes out and has himself a great inning to throw. That's the 4th shutout inning in a row now from the Collegians as we head into the bottom of the 7th. We'll stretch here in Boulder as we go into the bottom of the 7th with the Collegians up 11-4. Bottom of the order now, in the bottom of the 7th, as Upstill comes up to the plate for his 4th at-bat. Upstill scored on his previous time out on the base path off a walk. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Takes this one for ball 1. New pitcher in. This is Kevin Race. As Upstill sends this one in deep left center, and it's going to drop at the warning track. Upstill is going to take one more and go to second with ease. And a nice leadoff double for him. Puts a runner in scoring position with Vogel up.
That's about as close as you get to a home run without it going out here at Sky Carpenter. If that had been any more further to the left, that probably would have been gone because it landed either up against the fence or it landed right
Now
at the
batting
base.
number 1, Ryan Vogel.
And 388 out in center there. Maybe at Columbine where batter's box plays, that thing might have been out of here. So
Most likely, Columbine High School has probably the shortest center field fence I've seen at 348 dead center with probably a 5-foot wall, 6 max foot.
I think it's 315 out in right and left.
Yeah.
From what I saw, so
Thanks.
yeah, it's an awkward field, and Collegians took that to their advantage. They homered quite a few times in that doubleheader on Monday.
I've been to Columbine twice. Batter's box splits their home field between Columbine and All-Star Park. Very different ballparks.
All-Star Park, one of the nicest in Colorado, maybe the nicest facility in Colorado, as I said. A lot of the time hosting the state tournaments there.
That being the home field of Colorado Christian University, like I said, they have just renovated it. You can tell that turf's still fresh, the way the balls bounce off of it all the time.
Everybody got your hands.
Columbine High School is an interesting setup with a press box, even with first base.
Yeah,
Not your typical setup.
and not ideal for broadcasting like we're doing right now.
Not at all. It would be a very awkward angle trying to broadcast from that far side.
1-1 from Race, up still on second as this one comes in, and Vogel gets under this. This one's going to be sent into deep second. Going to be handled by the shortstop there for out number 1, and that's going to keep up still at second.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 8, Brady Miguel.
Miguel's had a pretty good day, 2 for 4. 2 singles, 1 RBI. Does have the 2 strikeouts, though. This will be his first time up against Race. Race is typically an infielder. I've seen him pitch once or twice this season. Like I said, it's not his typical role. I said Race was the starting second baseman. He is a freshman out of University of the Southwest. One thing about the college bios when you're reading about players, you never know quite what you're going to get. And under his personal column, it says, does German dance and card tricks. Was not expecting to see that under the bio.
Very interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It shows they do something else other than baseball.
Yeah. This one drops in low for ball number 1.
I thought about the card tricks that means you've got to have pretty good dexterity. That might contribute more to some of his off-speed or breaking pitches. We'll see how that translates. But just interesting things. You never know what you're going to find when you're seeing what else the players do.
And a lot of these players, I mean, you look at their bios before you talk to them just to get, some background information before you start to meet them. And it's cool to see kind of some of that personal information come out. And that's definitely something really cool to hear about him. 2-0 comes up. Miguel, the left-handed hitter, he's now at first base, but played shortstop to start.
Well, another one that I was not necessarily expecting was one of the Collegians players in Zach Given. He was on the Team USA Division II High School Hockey National Championship team.
And both of those, the Given brothers,
yeah,
Jake and Zach, played high school hockey at a very high level at Monarch High School, which is one of the best high school hockey teams, especially in the North Denver metro area. And it's pretty cool to see that, how elite they are going to UMass playing Division I baseball there, and how elite they were at that level, as Upstill's going to get cut off pretty easily trying to steal third. And Miguel's going to take ball 4 and walk.
Now batting for the Collegians, number 22.
Quickly go from a runner in scoring position with 1 out to 1 on first with 2 outs. Granted, that's Miguel. We're definitely going to see a stolen base out of him.
Yep.
And Ackerman at the plate. He's definitely going to try to work the count and try to let Miguel go over and get to second or if not third.
2 outs. Race throws this one. That's a nice breaking ball that drops in for strike 1.
But speaking of hockey, we've got another player on another team. My whole folder of teams is back in my backpack. But he also plays hockey for Williston State, where he plays baseball. So a 2-sport athlete.
That's a grind. And
absolutely.
And that's one thing where those 2 sports, as this one drops in for ball 1, those 2 sports are maybe like the most equipment you have to bring when you're traveling from place to place. Maybe lacrosse is another one like that. But all the trips they're making now, he has to go through and use that baseball equipment through every airport he goes to and every bus ride he goes to, and he also has to carry around that hockey equipment.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of equipment have to carry back and forth. But I enjoy getting to see 2-sport athletes, even when they take it into college level. We back at my school, we have a player that came in to play both volleyball and softball. Typically, that's not a big deal because they're in different seasons. This past year, we had every single sport in the spring. So one night I'd be calling the volleyball game, and she'd be starting as a freshman for that. The next day, she'd get the start in softball.
Race strikes him out there. That's impressive to do one season when you and not that it's not impressive with 2 seasons together. It's just impressive. One, to be a college athlete to begin with. To do 2 sports, that's just, you got to have a lot of respect for those guys. But this year, with how much COVID has affected things, it's just really impressive to see people playing not only two sports, but in the same season, like you said. So very impressive stuff there.
And like the two sports stuff, you see that so much anymore, how it impacts. It makes you a better player all the way around in whatever sport you do.
All right, well, it looks like Mike Manley will stay on the mound, the left-handed pitcher out of San Francisco State, as we head into the top half of the 8th inning. We'll be right back from Boulder. And we're back with the top of the 8th as Manley's going to stay on the mound with Craig Kinney to lead off.
Kinney stepping in. Kinney is a freshman out of University of Northern Colorado. Originally from Regis Jesuit High School. Comes from a very athletic family. Besides him, I believe 4 D1 athletes in the family, including his parents. His sister does swim and dive at East Carolina. His brother did football at, I believe, or baseball at the University of Florida. But very athletic family. Now he's playing D1 ball up in Greeley at UNC.
1-1 pitch comes in. This one low, going to be called for ball. Going to be called for ball 2.
So we'll see if Manley can continue what he did in his first outing in the 7th.
And this one's going to be shot quickly to D. He gets his first bit of action at short, and he throws this one to Fisher, and this one goes high. And this one's going to go out of play. And Kinney's going to get an extra base there to put a runner on second. So D handles the bouncing ball nice, but tries to get that ball quickly out to first and just over the head of Miguel.
Number 12.
That's going to be number 12, Braden Forrester batting.
Braden Forrester.
A pinch hitter coming in here for the DH. I've seen this a couple times with Forrester. He's listed as a pitcher, but he has come in to pinch hit occasionally. Lumberjacks running out of outs here. Forrester out of Greeley, Colorado, and University High School.
First pitch from Manley comes in. This one a fastball catches the bottom of the zone for strike 1.
Strike.
Haven't seen Forrester, like I said, listed as a pitcher, typically.
And this one's going to bounce towards D again. He's going to go to third, and they're going to get a pickle as Gazdar's going to look to tag him. And so they do a great job there getting the out on the base path to only keep one runner at first base.
Hey, good out there to go and get the lead base runner.
Out goes Kinney on the base path. And Forrester goes
Now
to
batting
first.
number 16, AJ Naha.
I believe that's going to go down as a 6.54 on that one, as it was fielded by D, who got it over to Ackerman, and then to Gazdar with the tag. But good heads-up play. So rundowns are always an important part of practices. They happen more than most people think, and they're always fun to witness. And let's see, we'll have a pinch runner come in for the pinch hitter and Forrester. That is, looks like the courtesy runner is number 27, Kevin Race. So we have the pitcher coming into courtesy run for the DH, who's hitting for him, if I understand this correctly.
Lumberjacks making a lot of changes on the base path too, kind of throughout. And Race, we saw him come out earlier, and it looked like they had a future plan for him to be on the mound. So who knows what they have? As this one's in for strike one.
Strike.
Collegians have done a fantastic job on the pitching side of things. Since the third inning, nothing has scored. It's nothing but zeros up there.
And that one catches the inside of the zone for strike two. And it's really nice to have three pitchers come in. And this is, a big credit to the San Francisco State program that three of their pitchers are coming in and pitching an excellent game so far. And besides that 3-run homer, they've really been lights out.
Oh, absolutely. You take away the 3-run homer, and we would have already been out of here.
This one's going to bounce to Ackerman, and he can't make the play at second. That was definitely a chance to turn two and end the inning. And Ackerman a little bit upset with himself there. And Ackerman, we know how talented the third baseman. That's an uncharacteristic play from him. That one just goes past the outstretched arms of Gazdar. As runners get put on the corner from an infield single from Naha.
And you were just talking about the 3-run homer. That's really that's the biggest thing their offense has done today. And here's the man who hit it coming up now in Will Mattis. But, yeah, you take away that 3-run homer, we would have been out of here last inning with the 10-run mercy rule.
Manley takes a look at first, goes into his windup. That's a great fastball there for strike one. And Jensen got ahead on Matos in the last at-bat and got him looking for a strikeout. So he's 2 for 3 on the day. As he gets some contact here, goes into the backstop, and we're at a quick 0-2.
Manley has done a good job. We're see if we can get out of this without letting any cross. He didn't let any come across last inning.
And it's just unfortunate because they really could be out of here if Ackerman can turn two there. I mean, not a guarantee that they get the play at first, but this is a great throw into second base. Gazdar maybe didn't put as much effort into the tag because he wanted to make sure that the third baseman didn't make his way home, but runner going to make their way to second on a strikeout to Matos.
Well, they get the strike him out. They couldn't get the strike him out, throw him out. Oh, batting now, I believe, is going to be number 3, Taylor Clayman. He pinched hit last time for Zach Paschke, so he subbed in.
This is another strike that catches the inside of the zone for strike 2.
Clayman struck out in the 6th inning, his last at bat. Clayman out of Peyton, Colorado. I believe CAD committed to Viterbo University. Oh, there's another swing and miss there. Manley trying to get out of this without letting anybody cross.
And just a few fielding errors are what has kind of gotten people on base.
And when you're up by 7, that's not going to cost you. I mean, giving up a run or two is not terrible, but
strike 3, and he's pumped right there to get that last strikeout. And he avoids no runners coming in and scoring and keeps this shutout going. Well, not this shutout, but shutout through 5 innings in a row where the Collegians have not given up a run. So Manley gets a nice strikeout there to retire the side as we go into the bottom of the 8th. Collegians up 11-4. Bottom of the 8th we go as a new pitcher comes in. His first pitch comes in for strike one. This is Micah Barkenhagen, who has played in right field all day. Kevin Race is going to take his place out there in the outfield. His first pitch goes into strike one on second baseman Gazdar, who sends this one deep into left field, and that thing looks like it goes foul a few inches to the right, and would have probably seen another leadoff home run there.
Kevin Race today for the Lumberjacks is earning the definition of, or the designation of, utility player.
Oh, definitely.
Started at second, came out to warm up, pitched for a couple innings.
Has a few at-bats as well.
Got a couple at-bats, and now he's standing in right field.
The 0-2 comes in, and this one inside, and Gazdar's able to get under it and send one into center field for a nice leadoff single.
Single.
While it wasn't the leadoff home run that we almost had, a leadoff base runner is still a good thing to start off an inning with. And Sean D has had a fantastic day so far.
Well, and Sean D with that solo shot on his last at-bat in the 6th inning. And it's also scored 3 times. He got, after that strikeout, he's been able to score all 3 times he's been up to the plate and on the base path. So definitely a guy you want to have up as Barkenhagen goes up against his second batter here. This one is sent back. Brings up an 0-2 count.
Haven't got to see Barkenhagen pitch much this season. Like I said, he's a freshman out of Ottawa University down in Surprise, Arizona. Originally from Castle Rock and went to Douglas County High School. Like I said, he's listed as an outfielder.
0-1 comes in, this one way low for ball 1.
But what it looks like is he throws hard, just doesn't quite have the control there. But there also doesn't seem to be a ton of movement on his fastball either, which with the way the Collegians have been playing, they could turn on that really quickly.
Oh, definitely. And you saw Gazdar able to get a lot of distance on that first foul ball that he sent into deep left. And then Gazdar able to get under it and get that single into center field.
It's one of those things, having the speed can get you through high school, but it's the movement that gets you further on as a pitcher.
The 1-1 comes in. That's a nice fastball that catches D swinging for strike 2.
But we'll see what comes of this. If, like I said, he's been able to get D to swing a couple of these. He might have to catch up because Race didn't throw that hard. Barkenhagen is throwing harder, so they might have to play a little bit of catch up here. But it might be a little too late.
And this one's going to be popped up into shallow second and handled there for out number 1 as Gazdar will stay on first. And that'll bring up Lane Oliphant.
Like I said, last inning was the first time today that the Collegians have not scored.
Now batting number 25, Lane Oliphant.
Oliphant also had a pretty good day today. He is 1 for 2, hit into a fielder's choice and got hit back in the second. He scored 2 runs. Not a bad day.
As off goes Gazdar, he slides into second with ease. Put a runner in scoring position.
The Collegians just make stealing bases look easy.
Oh, they really do. And it's anyone on the base path, too. Even some of the guys who aren't quite as fast seem to get on base and steal. But here, Naha wants to have a word with Barkenhagen at the mound. Just kind of get him in place to make sure that no more runs can score for Boulder.
Honestly, it's almost safe to say this one's in the bag for the Collegians, unless a big 9th inning.
Yeah. And if the Collegians can tack on 3 more, which is going to be unlikely as Oliphant swings and misses here for strike 1. Could get out of here after 8, but looks like they're going to play the top of the 9th. The 1-1 is getting ready to come in with John Gazdar at second. This pitch from Barkenhagen is grounded to third. Gazdar is going to stay at second. That ball a little high to first base, but they get the tag for out number 2.
Smart move there. They did a good job by checking Gazdar and being able to go over to first at Kenny. And a good job by Kenny coming up and making that grab to come down and having the awareness to tag, but in the middle of making a spin move to get out of
Yeah.
the way so he didn't run into Oliphant.
2 outs here for Barkenhagen. Pitches to Rucco, and this one's sent up for a foul ball.
Everybody clap your hands. Come on, Doc.
And Gazdar leading off a bit at second base, wants to see if Rucco can maybe bat him in here. The 0-1 comes in from Barkenhagen, and this one tips off the helmet of Naha and gets tipped foul into the backstop. Brings up 0-2 for AJ Rucco.
Rucco's had a pretty good day. 2 RBIs. One was an RBI double and a run scored. That flew out to center and struck out once, but still a solid day. 2 for 4, 500 on the day. We'll see what he does here in his last at bat, which I'm assuming this will be his last at bat of the day. But a fantastic way for the Collegians to end the home part of their season.
Oh, most definitely. And they've been pretty dominant here. Now, there are only 2 losses of the season coming here at Scott Carpenter, but only 2 losses on the year. You'll take that any season at home. And just overall been a great season. I mean, it was hard, I know, for Tony Rucco and Mark Knutson to get this thing together, you know, getting the ownership about, 2 months before the season started, getting the guys here, getting host families, getting all of that going. And then for us to just put this show on at a great facility here at Scott Carpenter, get great vendors like SB Street Eats and Baseline Liquors to come in. It's overall been a very successful home season. The 1-2 is coming into Rucco, and it looks like a check swing. Doesn't matter. It's going to be in the zone. Strike 3. So Barkenhagen, no runs scored against him. He gives up a leadoff single to Gazdar, but nothing more than that. As we head into the top of the 9th, where we'll see if the Collegians can close this one out and end their homestand on a good note. Carter Henninger will be on the mound to try and get the save. We'll be right back from Boulder. And we are back for what looks like it could be the final inning of play, as Carter Henninger is going to come on the mound for the top of the 9th inning.
A bold move here for the leadoff guy, and it's a pinch hitter come in. Murphy Ganger, typically a pitcher. This should be his first at bat of the season.
And that first fastball goes high, ball 1. And Henninger, we know he's got a lot of power on that fastball, so
Hittinger, a very good. I mean, we've seen him start, and he's also a very good closer because he's got that speed.
Swing and a miss there. Strike one.
So Ganger, the batter, like I said, listed as a right-handed pitcher, 6'4", out of Castle Rock, Colorado. Just finished up his freshman year at Northern Oklahoma College in Enid, which is a good JUCO over there in Enid, Oklahoma.
The 1-1 is getting set to come in, and Henninger just pounding the play with fastballs right now. Goes in for strike number 2. And a tough pitcher to go against for Murphy right now because, I mean, Henninger, he's maybe the hardest thrower on this Collegians roster.
Especially when this might be your first at bat of the season.
Oh, definitely.
And
Henninger is fresh. He hasn't pitched anything, and so he's going to unload everything he has.
And the other teams don't quite have the, from what I've seen, the hitting pitchers that the Collegians have had here of late. Because he got a home run the other day in Pueblo. Yeah. I saw that on Twitter. And then we've seen Potter get one.
The 1-2 comes in. He pounds the plate again. Strike 3. All he can do is look, and that's just a tough first at bat to have. And Henninger's going to gain a little confidence from that as he gets a nice 4-pitch strikeout. And we're 2 outs away from ending this thing here. This brings us back to the top of the order with number 15, Quincy Miller.
15, Quincy Miller.
Miller struggled a little bit today, 0 for 2, but he has gotten on base twice with 2 walks and scored a run. Granted, that was the last run scored by anybody in this ballgame that came back in the 3rd inning.
This pitch comes, and this one's a little bit high. Caught by Fisher there for ball 1.
But Henninger, a recent high school graduate of Oak Ridge High School in El Dorado Hills, California, committed to play D1 ball at San Jose State.
And like I said before, he throws hard. He knows his spots. He knows how to go to the breaking ball as well and has some accuracy with that as he throws a fastball there and gets him swinging. He is all around just a great pitcher, and he's someone we see that can pitch a lot too. A few weekends ago, there was a doubleheader against Bradley. He started in one of those. 2 days later, he comes out and he starts on a Sunday, or he pitches 5 innings on a Sunday against the Hayes Larks, which is a great team as he gets him to swing here. And so he's versatile, he's talented, and really excited to see what he does at San Jose State next year.
Oh, absolutely. And another thing, he knows how to have fun. That's a lot of the Collegians.
Definitely.
Everybody here seems to know how to have fun. They know when to take it serious, but they also know when to have fun in a ball game.
And he just looks like he's having fun on the mound every time he's out there.
Absolutely.
The 1-2 gets set to come in here, and this one outside, ball 2.
I remember last time whenever it was the Boulder 14ers home games, I just give him a little bit of a hard time. As he likes, whenever he's up here running or doing PA, he likes to give other people a hard time. I was like, I have to do a little bit more. He always laughs if you call him Young Gravy.
Oh, yeah.
The go-to.
So 2-2 comes in, and there's that breaking ball we talk about. It goes right in. He catches him looking. So 2 strikeouts looking for Henninger to start this one off, and we are 1 out away from ending this thing.
And you talked about it earlier with both losses coming here. Another way to look at that, perfect on the road.
Yeah.
And the rest of the season for y'all is going to be on the road.
Yep.
So that's one way to look at it.
That is one good way to look at it.
Or in league play anyways.
And I think with these guys, they're definitely comfortable playing at Scott Carpenter. But one thing about having so many players from so many different places, they're comfortable playing anywhere. These guys are just playing baseball, you know what I mean? None of these guys are in their hometowns, really. And so they're coming out here, and they're just trying to play baseball wherever they are, you know what I mean? Tell me a field, tell me a place, I'll be there, I'll play.
Not quite sure what the conversation is right here. Unless it's just over balls and strikes, but because that was the third base coach for the Lumberjacks talking with the home plate umpire, and then Steve Johnson, the head coach, coming over and talking, or Steve Thompson talking. Not quite sure. You're down by 7 in the bottom of the 9th. There comes a point you know what, you learn when to pick your battles.
Yeah.
If this was a 1-run game, sure, argue it. Not a 7-run game with 1 out in the bottom or the top of the 9th. I'm genuinely confused as to what's going on right now.
Very confused what's going on. Looks like the first base umpire's having a word with the manager there and talking with some of the players in the dugout. I currently don't know what's going on, what's causing this delay. Like I said, we're 1 out away here. The 7. Looks like a batter did get ejected. We're
Oh,
just being informed right now,
so I
but we
guess
don't
that
know.
was Miller, probably arguing balls and strikes on that call. But
And so we'll see as they're dealing with that. And not 100% confirmed on the ejection. It looks like a batter did get ejected.
I could tell somewhat tensions were somewhat high with the Lumberjacks. It's never fun to get beat by 7 runs. Especially, I remember the doubleheader at Rock Canyon. There was a little bit of
There's some chipiness there.
as Carter Henninger
Carter
relaxes
Henninger.
in center field, or in right behind the pitcher's mound. Going complete, I believe, what is it, Zach Greinke who does this. He's only missing a blanket at this point. I love summer baseball.
And what did we just say? He looks like he's always having fun on the mound.
Absolutely. And
Now batting number 18, Dylan McKee.
what we were talking about, remember that doubleheader at Rock Canyon? Things were a little bit uneasy between the two
It
teams.
seemed like things were getting a little chippy there. So I mean, there's some bad blood between these teams, as swing and a miss there. And at a certain level of it's good. It's good to see these two teams caring and taking this summer ball very seriously, and it makes it fun and competitive for everyone.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was almost like a small rivalry there that just kind of happened during that first doubleheader. But what we're seeing here, just with that big swing from McKee, it's gotten to that point where I see this a lot, where people are trying to take the whole game into their own hands, and they just start swinging for the fences at every time.
Yeah.
So instead of just trying to get the base hits and string a bunch of them together, they're like, I'm just going to put it out myself and make it 1 run closer. Which, you see that less and less as you get up, but you still see it all the way up. You see it in the major leagues still. And I guarantee you we'll be seeing it in the Olympics here in a week. Or in 2 weeks, whenever the baseball part of the Olympics start. You get down, everybody starts swinging for the fences.
2-1 comes up, and this one's going to be high and outside. No, and you like that, competitiveness. You like to see teams competing, passionate. You don't want it to go too far. You want it to always stay, safe and always, kind of keep your composure and keep calm. But sometimes, just the passion that a lot of these guys have for the game, they've been grinding out here all summer. Sometimes, it can get the best of you. So
Absolutely.
we'll see as we try to close this one out.
You've got to be able to learn the fine line of enemies on the field, friends off, and have that balance. Take it seriously, but not too far.
And this one's going to just catch outside, and Henninger upset with the spot a little bit, as that one's going to be called for ball 4. Dylan McKee's going to take his base there and put a runner on here in the top of the 9th.
Now batting number 34, Micah Barkenhagen.
So Barkenhagen, he started right, now pitching, and just probably close thing out.
This will be his first at bat as a pitcher.
0 for 2 on the day.
And that one high and catches the zone for strike 1.
But has been on baits once and has gotten a sac fly. Granted, that's not happening this time. Henninger trying to close this stuff out. I know he wasn't happy with the walk, but at the same time, 2 outs, top of the 9th, up by 7, not the end of the world. Just focus on the next guy. If he steals, he steals.
And off he goes as this one catches the zone. And McKee looks like he's going to get into second safely. But now we have a 0-2 count, and we're 1 strike away.
See, just like that, you could tell Fisher wasn't even worried. Wasn't even going to try to throw, no point in it. Let's just get the out at the plate and go home with the win.
And Henninger, going to probably expect him to maybe go with the fastball, but sometimes he switches it up, and if you can get that accurate breaking ball, you can really stump a batter. He goes in, and he goes with some power there, but it misses the zone, ball 1.
I always love to see a beautiful strikeout to end it with a fantastic breaking ball, but I'm not opposed to seeing him just throw it right down the middle and get out of here.
1-2. This one bounces off for ball 2.
I'm almost sad that this is going to be my last game up here with the Boulder Collegians this summer. It's been fun coming here. You've been doing a great job with your live stream. It's good to be able to get another team live streamed.
Appreciate that as the strike three gets him swinging, and Carter gets himself 3 strikeouts to end this thing here. And I really appreciate that, man. I mean, it's been nice to have, you guys up here. You guys have been a big help, helping from scorebook to, running the Game Changer live stats to running music. You guys have been a big help up here. So it's been great. It's been a great season up here at Scott Carpenter. It's a great environment to come up to. And I just really appreciate you guys for coming up. And I said last night, I wish we would have done this earlier and, teamed up on a broadcast like we did tonight.
Definitely, because this has been fun. It's always easier to have somebody else on a broadcast with
definitely.
you. But it's been a great season here. I've enjoyed coming out to Boulder. Like I said, the games are always fun up here. Makes that 45 to an hour drive or 45 minute to an hour drive worth it. And me, not only do I enjoy the games, I always like to go find a place to eat there. Every place up here has been fantastic so far. And also the ballpark food with SV Street Eats. Cannot say enough about them. They have been fantastic. They have really helped make this, the experience up here so much better. And, 21-2 now on the season. You couldn't ask for much better from the Collegians.
It's been great baseball out here. It's been great to see the city come out. I mean, this is one of our largest crowds for the last game of the season. It's great to see that, and I think the city's starting to rally around this team, and hopefully we can carry this momentum going into Alaska. They'll go to Alaska on Sunday. We'll have games Monday through Saturday. We'll stream all those games here on our live stream, and then they'll, go out to Wichita, and we'll see if we can make some noise out there at the NBC tournament.
If y'all keep playing like y'all have been as of late, no doubt that especially the way Wichita's set up with the weird pool play situation, Hutchinson, I fully believe y'all can definitely make it out of pool play and probably win a couple games in Wichita. It's just one of those things. When you get there, when you're going up against the D1, the big D1 Power 5, it's going to be tough. But the depth, the attitude, the relentlessness that I've seen out of this team, they've never quit. They were down by 2 to start and never checked up and just started rolling super consistently.
You would have never thought that the Collegians were down early in this game.
Absolutely not.
They bounced back and they put 11 runs up, and so it's been really great to see the resiliency of this team. You've seen it on display, and this was a great warm-up game. All respect to the Lumberjacks coming out here. They played a hell of a game. The versatility of them to have players bounce all over. A lot of respect for those guys. And as we said, maybe a little bit of a rivalry forming here. That's great for the league.
Absolutely.
You want to have teams, that have established kind of rivalries going on. And so right now, going into next summer, the Lumberjacks and Collegians, we'll see each other again. And I'm sure both of them are excited to see that. So it's great. And Matt, once again, man, I want to thank you for getting on the broadcast with me today. I know this is your third of the day, so, don't want to hold you up here too long.
Like I said, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. I love getting to watch baseball up here, and it's one of those things. Some days 3 games in a row is fun. I enjoyed it today.
There's worse things we could be doing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we want to thank all of you guys for listening right here. Next broadcast will be on Monday at 6:30. That'll be 6:30 Alaska time. It'll be 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So we'll keep you guys updated on our Facebook and our Twitter pages. With the upcoming trips coming up, that does require some expenses. So if you guys want to help out in any way with any donations and, help us out on our upcoming travel expenses, that'll be greatly appreciated. We will have some information on our Twitter and Facebook accounts about all that. You can also contact us on either of those platforms for information regarding that. But as for me and everyone at Boulder Collegians, we want to thank you guys for a great home season here. We're not done yet, but as we wrap up league play tomorrow with the doubleheader against the Roughnecks, which we unfortunately will not have a live stream for that, but we'll conclude league play with those 2 games, and this will be our last live stream for that. So we want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you guys for staying with us all year long. Any last words from you, Matt?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Thank you to all the viewers watching this one. Like I said, great job this season, Devin. It's good to have the Boulder Collegians having in their own stream that you can bring them stuff. And the job you've done on social media and YouTube has been absolutely fantastic. I know the league appreciates it because we were able to just get started up halfway through the season with streams, and some places we still can't. But yeah, thanks for having on. It's been a great season, and good luck to y'all in Alaska and going forward.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and it's been great working with you all season. So for everyone out there, I want to wish you guys a safe Friday night and a safe weekend. We hope you guys tune in next week as we take on the Alaska Gold Panthers for a 6-game series. So thank you guys. Great Collegians win, and have a good one.